I mean, it's just crazy. We've talked about, alternative theories to how the pyramids were built.
Yeah. I'm willing to accept that the Great Pyramid was largely completed by the ancient Egyptians. But remember that the ancient Egyptians tell us in many of their texts that everything they knew was a legacy. It was all an inheritance of the gods, and I don't construe the gods as aliens.
Beneath the sands of modern-day Sudan and southern Egypt lies the story of a civilization whose architectural prowess rivaled that of the ancient Egyptians, the Nubians.
I think we're looking at hints and clues that something is missing in our story.
Known for constructing more pyramids than their northern neighbors, the Nubians created a kingdom of extraordinary wealth, culture, and power. But as the tides of history shifted, their grand structures were gradually reclaimed by the desert, and their story obscured by the sands of time.
I want to know what else is going to be found that hasn't been investigated yet at all. We're just touching the edge of a huge mystery.
Where did this great civilization go? And what secrets do their ancient cities and towering pyramids still hold? The Nubian civilization, nestled along the Nile River in what is now Sudan and southern Egypt, stands as one of Africa's oldest and most fascinating civilizations.
A great civilization that had been destroyed and that had left some survivors who had come to Egypt.
With a history that stretches back to the Neolithic period, Nubia is celebrated for its complex social structure, advanced architectural prowess, and dynamic interactions with ancient Egypt. The story of Nubia's exploration and its archaeological significance unfolds with intriguing depth, particularly when considering its ties to Egypt. During the 19th century, as European powers expanded their reach across Africa, scholars and archaeologists often accompanied colonial expeditions, initially focusing on the pharaonic marvels of Egypt due to their spectacular allure and global fascination. However, these explorers soon ventured into modern-day Sudan, where they uncovered the rich heritage of Nubia.
Yes, there's been some archaeology in the Sahara Desert, but not very much.
Richard Lepsius, a pioneering German Egyptologist, was one of the first to document Nubian antiquities extensively during his Prussian expedition from 1842 to 1845. His meticulous records and sketches provided a detailed overview of Nubian archaeological wealth, charting numerous sites including temples, tombs, and entire settlements previously unknown to the broader scholarly community. Yet these early explorations were not without their challenges. Adventurers faced harsh climates and political instability, and their initial perceptions of Nubia were often clouded by colonial biases, frequently underestimating the sophistication of the Nubian civilization in comparison to their northern neighbors, the Egyptians. Nubia's relationship with Egypt was marked by periods of both conflict and cooperation, with Nubian kings at times dominating Egypt, especially during the 25th dynasty, also known as the Nubian dynasty. This era is crucial for understanding the significant influence Nubians had on Egyptian politics, culture, and religion. Pharaoh Taharqa, a notable ruler of this dynasty, oversaw an era of considerable architectural and cultural achievements, with extensive building projects in both Egypt and Nubia. His contributions in Thebes and Karnak, showcasing a blend of Egyptian and Nubian artistic styles, are particularly well documented. The rediscovery of the Nubian dynasty has been pivotal, highlighting the Nubians not just as conquerors but as integrators who significantly enhanced the Egyptian state's infrastructure and cultural life. Turning our gaze to a broader horizon, comparing Nubia and Mesopotamia offers fascinating parallels. Both civilizations flourished around mighty rivers, the Nile for Nubia and the Tigris-Euphrates for Mesopotamia, providing the fertile ground that supported dense populations and the development of complex societies. Just as Nubia interacted with Egypt, Mesopotamia had dynamic relationships with its neighbors, engaging in both cultural exchanges and military conflicts. Architecturally, while Nubia is renowned for its pyramids and monumental temples, Mesopotamia is credited with the development of ziggurats and the pioneering use of brick as a primary building material. Both regions also developed their writing systems, with cuneiform in Mesopotamia and Meroitic scripts in Nubia, which were vital for administrative, religious, and cultural expressions, remaining crucial for archaeologists and historians in understanding these ancient societies.
If you wish to pass information to a distant future, you wouldn't be smart to just write it down.
How can we know that our script is going to be readable by any other culture, let's say 10,000 years in the future?
George Reisner's pioneering archaeological work in Nubia at the beginning of the 20th century has dramatically enhanced our understanding of the ancient kingdom of Kush, shedding light on a civilization that was at various times a rival and a partner to ancient Egypt. As a professor at Harvard University, Reisner was dispatched by the Harvard University Museum of Fine Arts Boston expedition to delve into the historical mysteries of Egypt and Nubia. His investigations in Nubia were among the first to apply scientific archaeological methods in the region, establishing new standards for documenting the excavation process that would influence future archaeological endeavors. One of Reisner's most groundbreaking efforts was his excavation of Kerma, which he identified as a key cultural and political hub of the Kingdom of Kush. This discovery was particularly significant as Kerma's importance had previously been overshadowed by more well-known Egyptian sites. At Kerma, the most striking find was the Defufa, a towering mud brick structure that remains one of the largest and oldest of its kind in the world. Reisner suggested that the Defufa served a religious and possibly administrative function, a topic that continues to spark debate among scholars regarding its specific role. Further excavations at the royal cemeteries in Kerma unearthed a wealth of information about the burial customs of the Kushite elite. The tombs revealed a rich array of grave goods, including pottery, gold, and bronze artifacts, which spoke of a highly sophisticated culture with expansive trade networks. Additionally, evidence of human sacrifices at these sites suggested that the Kushites engaged in complex funerary rituals, underscoring the depth of their religious beliefs. The layout of Kerma, as uncovered by Reisner, indicated a highly organized urban center, complete with residential areas, production centers, and extensive fortifications. This insight provided a new perspective on the urban planning and architectural sophistication of the Kushite civilization, challenging the then prevailing notion that Nubian culture was perpetually subordinate to that of ancient Egypt. Instead, Reisner's findings highlighted the distinctiveness of the Nubian civilization and its ability to influence and control vast territories, including parts of Egypt at various times. Reisner's systematic approach to excavation and his rigorous documentation practices set new benchmarks in the field of archaeology. He was a pioneer in using stratigraphy for dating purposes, which allowed for a more accurate understanding of the chronological sequence of the sites he excavated. The legacy of his work continues to serve as a foundational resource for subsequent research on Nubia, inspiring generations of archaeologists to further explore the complexities of Nubian history and its interconnections with other ancient civilizations. As we continue to unravel the intricacies of this ancient society, Reisner's contributions remain invaluable, providing a robust framework for understanding not only Nubia's past, but also the broader narratives of ancient world histories. The rediscovery of Nubian pyramids and the archaeological efforts to save Nubian heritage in the wake of the Aswan High Dam's construction have provided profound insights into this ancient civilization.
Archaeology is often driven by accidental finds.
Yeah.
Maybe a road is going to be built, maybe a railway is going to be built. A lot of archaeological discoveries are made as a result of that.
Nubian pyramids offer a stark contrast to their Egyptian counterparts. These structures are characterized by their steep and narrow sides and much smaller bases, ranging from approximately 6 to 30 meters across, unlike Egypt's Great Pyramid of Giza, which spans over 230 meters at its base. Constructed with stepped courses of horizontally laid stone blocks, Nubian pyramids typically feature a small chapel at the base facing east, housing offerings and a stele with inscriptions about the deceased. The burial practices within these pyramids reveal a lot about the Nubians. These pyramids were not just final resting places, but also a testament to the wealth and power of the Kushite royalty and elites, reflecting a hierarchy and religious practices influenced by, yet distinct from, Egyptian traditions. Moreover, the art and hieroglyphic inscriptions on the walls of these pyramids offer critical insights into the religious beliefs and daily life of the Kushites, often including prayers and spells similar to those found in Egyptian texts, but adapted to local contexts and deities, highlighting the syncretic nature of Nubian religion. Continuing on the theme of comparisons, looking at Nubian and Mayan pyramids side by side offers fascinating insights. Both civilizations built pyramids, yet their purposes and designs reflect different cultural priorities and environmental conditions. Nubian pyramids, primarily serving as tombs for royalty, featured steep sides and narrow bases and were constructed of stone. In contrast, Mayan pyramids, often broader and less steep, served primarily religious purposes, hosting rituals and sacrifices at their summits, often accessible via a series of steps.
Anunnaki and Atlanteans are really, in my opinion, the same exact people. Atlantis is everywhere. We are all standing and sitting on Atlantis at this exact moment. The Ring City, in my opinion, was just one of many capitals on Earth. But my personal opinion is the Anunnaki are the Atlanteans.
Billy Carson, a prominent figure in the realm of alternative history and ancient astronaut theories, has developed a comprehensive narrative about the reasons behind the Anunnaki's visit to Earth. Drawing from ancient texts, mythology, and speculative theories, Carson provides a multifaceted explanation for the Anunnaki's arrival on our planet. So why did they come to planet Earth?
There was an ancient galactic war there. This created something called space refugees.
One of the central themes in the interpretation is the Anunnaki's need for gold. According to these theories, the Anunnaki required gold for their home planet, Nibiru. It is posited that gold had unique properties vital for Nibiru's atmosphere or technological needs. This aligns with Zecharia Sitchin's interpretations of Sumerian texts, suggesting that the Anunnaki used gold to create a protective shield for their planet's atmosphere, reflecting cosmic radiation and stabilizing their environment. Upon discovering Earth, the Anunnaki identified it as a rich source of gold. They established extensive mining operations, primarily in regions like southern Africa, where ancient gold mines have been found.
There was this place in South Africa called Adam's Calendar, where they found the very first gold mines that human beings were working underneath their boot.
The most notable of these ancient mining sites is the Barberton Greenstone Belt. The Barberton Greenstone Belt, located in South Africa, is one of the oldest geological formations on Earth and contains some of the oldest gold mines known to humanity. It dates back approximately 3.5 to 3.2 billion years. This area is famous for its gold deposits, which have been mined for thousands of years. According to the theories, the Anunnaki established their mining operations in this region due to its rich gold reserves. The mines in this area, such as those found in Mpumalanga, are believed to have been used by ancient civilizations, possibly influenced by the Anunnaki.
Now, what's interesting about these aliens is that they're not little green men with antennae. They look just like us.
An example of these ancient mines is the Ngwenya mine, located in Swaziland, which is considered one of the world's oldest mines. Archaeological evidence suggests that mining activities at Ngwenya date back more than 43,000 years. Theorists propose that such ancient mining sites may have been part of the Anunnaki's extensive network of gold extraction operations. Initially, the Anunnaki themselves conducted the mining work. These beings, according to the theories, possessed advanced technology and physical capabilities that allowed them to undertake the arduous task of gold mining. However, despite their advanced abilities, the laborious and hazardous nature of the mining process soon became a significant challenge. The harsh conditions and intensive labor required for gold extraction prompted the Anunnaki to seek alternative solutions to sustain their operations. Faced with the need to alleviate the demanding physical labor, the Anunnaki explored several alternatives before resorting to the creation of a new labor force through genetic engineering. These alternatives included automated machines and tools. The Anunnaki might have initially utilized advanced machinery designed to perform mining tasks. These machines, though efficient, may have required constant maintenance and lacked the adaptability needed for varied mining conditions. Another possibility is that the Anunnaki might have employed workers from other planets or even their own ranks. However, the sheer scale and prolonged nature of the mining operations could have rendered this approach unsustainable. Before creating modern humans, the Anunnaki might have experimented with other native species on Earth to enhance their abilities for labor. These experiments might have led to the creation of various hybrid beings mentioned in ancient myths and legends. Ultimately, the Anunnaki decided to create a new species that could effectively handle the labor-intensive mining operations. This decision led to what is known as the Adamu experiment, where the Anunnaki combined their DNA with that of early hominids to produce a hybrid species, Homo sapiens.
We actually look like them.
Okay.
And the reason why is because we have their genetics and their DNA inside of our bodies.
The primary reason for genetically modifying humans was to create a labor force capable of performing the strenuous and repetitive tasks required for mining gold. The Anunnaki sought a species that was intelligent enough to follow complex instructions, but still docile and subservient. By blending their DNA with that of early hominids, the Anunnaki aimed to produce beings who possessed the physical endurance and adaptability of Earth's native species, combined with the intelligence and technological proficiency of the Anunnaki. The Adamu experiment involved the creation of the first humans, Adam and Eve, as laborers. This concept parallels the biblical creation story, but with an extraterrestrial twist. The term Adamu is used in Sumerian texts to refer to the first man, created by the god Enki and the goddess Ninhursag. These deities, interpreted as Anunnaki scientists, conducted a series of genetic experiments to develop a suitable human workforce. The initial experiments by the Anunnaki focused on combining their own DNA with that of various indigenous species on Earth. These early attempts resulted in numerous failures and partial successes, producing beings that either lacked the necessary intelligence, physical capabilities, or docility required for effective labor. The Anunnaki had specific requirements for their workforce. They needed the beings to be intelligent enough to understand and carry out complex instructions. Mining for gold was labor-intensive and required significant physical strength and stamina, so physical endurance was a must. The new species needed to be adaptable to various environmental conditions and able to learn and develop new skills as needed. To ensure a sustainable workforce, the beings needed to reproduce naturally, eliminating the need for the Anunnaki to continuously create new workers. While intelligence and adaptability were crucial, it was equally important that the beings remain subservient and manageable to prevent rebellion or resistance. Through a meticulous process of trial and error, the Anunnaki scientists, Enki and Ninhursag, eventually created the first successful prototypes of modern humans. By splicing Anunnaki DNA with that of early hominids, the scientists were able to introduce advanced cognitive abilities and enhanced physical traits. This genetic intervention was aimed at elevating the primitive hominids' capabilities to meet the labor demands. Once the new humans, referred to as Adamu, were created, they underwent training to learn the specific tasks required in mining and other labor-intensive activities. This ensured that they could perform their duties efficiently. Additionally, the Anunnaki scientists carefully integrated traits that promoted loyalty and subservience. This was done to ensure that the humans remained compliant and did not challenge the authority of their creators. The narrative about the Anunnaki posits that these ancient extraterrestrial beings created humans for the purpose of mining gold, a resource they needed for their home planet, Nibiru. This raises intriguing questions about the long-term implications for humanity and whether the Anunnaki might return to collect the gold. According to the interpretation, the Anunnaki might have decided that it was more efficient to let humans mine gold slowly over thousands of years, rather than attempting to extract it rapidly, even with their advanced technology. This theory could be based on several factors. First, even with advanced technology, the sheer volume of gold embedded in the Earth's crust may have made rapid extraction impractical. The process of mining gold is labor-intensive and time-consuming, involving complex geological formations that even the Anunnaki might have found challenging to exploit quickly. By creating humans and providing them with the necessary skills and knowledge to mine gold, the Anunnaki ensured a self-sustaining system. Humans, driven by their own economic and cultural incentives, would continue to mine gold, gradually accumulating the resource without the need for continuous intervention from the Anunnaki. Additionally, the Anunnaki might have envisioned a long-term strategy where gold is slowly accumulated over millennia. This approach would ensure a steady supply of gold, allowing the Anunnaki to return periodically to collect the amassed reserves without having to manage daily operations. Another intriguing theory is that world nations could be secretly collecting gold from their citizens to give it to the Anunnaki. Governments around the world hold significant gold reserves, often under the guise of financial stability and economic security. These reserves are collected through various means, including gold taxes, purchasing programs, and confiscation during times of crisis. According to this theory, there might be clandestine agreements between world leaders and the Anunnaki. These agreements would stipulate that a portion of the gold reserves be set aside for the Anunnaki, who periodically visit Earth to collect their share. The theory could draw on historical events where governments have seized gold from their citizens, such as the United States Executive Order 6102 in 1933, which required citizens to turn in their gold. Such events could be interpreted as part of a broader, long-term plan to gather gold for the Anunnaki. The global financial system, with its emphasis on gold as a stable asset, might be part of a grand design to ensure that sufficient quantities of gold are available for the Anunnaki. Central banks and financial institutions could be complicit in this secret agenda, managing the flow of gold to meet extraterrestrial demands.
To people who aren't aware, there's a location in the Western Sahara Desert of Mauritania called the Richat structure. It's also commonly referred to as the Eye of the Sahara. And what's so spectacular about this is that it just so happens to match more than a dozen striking similarities to what Plato had described as the lost ancient capital city of Atlantis.
Have you ever heard of the Eye of the Sahara? Officially known as the Richat structure, this geological wonder is something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Because archaeologists roll their eyes every time you say the word Atlantis. But that is precisely the date that Plato gives for the destruction of Atlantis.
Picture this. A giant, almost circular dome sprawling 40 kilometers across the Sahara. So massive it's visible from space, but it's not just its size that's mind-blowing. The Richat structure's beauty lies in its complexity, especially its mesmerizing concentric rings. These rings aren't your regular circles. They're like fingerprints, each one unique in width, composition, and how time and the elements have worn them down. It's as if nature itself was playing architect, crafting a masterpiece over millions of years through erosion.
It is a site that most people have never seen or heard of before, which is truly peculiar because it's so spectacular.
Wind and water have sculpted this dome layer by layer, revealing a range of rings that tell a story of resilience and transformation. Now let's delve into what makes up this stunning structure.
And what I'm focusing on is the lost capital city, which was said to be made up of concentric circles, 3 of water, 2 of land, which matches the Richat structure.
The outermost rings boast Proterozoic quartzite, a rock so tough and ancient it's been around for over 600 million years. Imagine that. Quartzite starts off as sandstone and undergoes a metamorphosis with heat and pressure, emerging as this incredibly hard rock. Move inward, and the materials shift to softer, sedimentary rocks like limestone, which forms in marine environments, and sandstone, composed of tiny mineral grains. At the heart of the Richat structure, there's a fascinating mix called siliceous breccia, essentially a jumble of angular rock fragments bonded together, often found in volcanic areas or places with a lot of geological action. The Richat structure is not just a feast for the eyes, it's a geologist's dream. The variety of rock types and the formation's history offer a rare glimpse into the Earth's geological processes. When you dive into the origins of the Richat structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara, you're essentially unpacking a geological mystery that's been in the making for millions of years. At the heart of this mystery is the uplifted dome theory, which geologists lean towards when explaining how this stunning feature came to be. Imagine the Earth's crust getting a gentle nudge from below, creating a bulge on the surface. Over eons, wind and water went to work on this dome, chiseling away at it. But here's the catch, not all rocks are made the same. Some are tougher, others are softer, so they didn't all erode at the same pace. This selective erosion crafted the Richat structure's iconic concentric rings, each layer telling a story of resilience and time. But wait, there's a twist in the tale thanks to Jimmy Corsetti.
The question becomes, is it big enough to be a city with possibly millions of people? Because the way it was described is that it was a city that was said to be busy all day, all night, rich in trade, with languages spoken from all over.
He floats a rather intriguing idea that maybe, just maybe, ancient humans had a hand in sculpting the Richat structure. While this leans more towards speculation, it's a fascinating thought that adds a pinch of mystery to an already captivating story. Now let's talk about the Sahara Desert, the Richat structure's vast, arid home. This desert environment, with its relentless wind erosion, has been a key player in shaping the structure. But remember, the Sahara wasn't always a desert.
And what people don't realize is that Sahara Africa, up until about 4,500 to 5,000 years ago, was totally green.
It has seen its fair share of climatic roller coasters over millions of years, each phase leaving its mark on the rate and style of erosion at the site. The rocks at the Richat structure are ancient historians, some dating back over 600 million years, offering a glimpse into the Earth's early days, continental drifts, and the dawn of life. The creation of the Richat structure wasn't an overnight affair. It was a marathon of geological activity, from the shifting of tectonic plates to the whims of climate change, all contributing to the structure's unique appearance. Erosion played the role of the sculptor, methodically revealing the different layers of rock beneath. One of the most striking aspects of the Richat structure is its near-perfect circular pattern, a feature so distinctive that astronauts use it as a space landmark.
Even if you went to Mauritania, so you could see this from space, astronauts use it as a locator, and they weren't really familiar or aware of it until the Gemini missions in the early 1960s.
It's a mesmerizing pattern that stands out in the vastness of the Sahara. Plato's tales of Atlantis, nestled within his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, really do spark the imagination, don't they? Written in the 4th century BC, at a time when Athens was basking in its golden era of philosophy and culture, Plato wasn't just any philosopher. He was a master of exploring deep concepts about society, ethics, and the nature of reality itself. Through these dialogues, it's like he's engaging in a spirited chat, using his characters to weave through various ideas and viewpoints. Then there's Atlantis, this mythical island city that Plato claimed existed beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which we commonly associate with the Strait of Gibraltar today. He didn't hold back on the details, portraying Atlantis as a gargantuan landmass, outstripping the size of Libya and Asia put together. The description of its layout is nothing short of fascinating, featuring a series of concentric rings of land and sea that would have required an extraordinary feat of engineering to construct, with its elaborate canals and bridges. At the core of Atlantis was its fertile central plain, a farmer's dream, encircled by towering mountains that offered both a wealth of resources and a natural fortress. But the allure of Atlantis extended beyond its geography. Plato painted a picture of a city flush with resources and technological prowess, boasting an abundance of metals like the enigmatic orichalcum, alongside gold and silver. The infrastructure was ahead of its time, complete with sophisticated water systems, majestic temples, grand palaces, and bustling docks. Yet Atlantis was more than its physical attributes. Plato envisioned a society with a rich tapestry of laws, traditions, and governance, underpinned by a formidable military might. However, as the narrative unfolds, Atlantis transitions from a utopian exemplar to a cautionary tale of corruption and decline, ultimately leading to its downfall. This story, layered with intricate details and moral undertones, continues to captivate and fuel the imagination, a testament to Plato's enduring legacy. While there's a resemblance to Plato's Atlantis, the geographical settings throw us for a loop. The Richat structure sits in the heart of the Sahara, far from the Atlantic Ocean, where Atlantis was said to be.
But another little detail that most people aren't aware of, because they think of Atlantis like, oh, it must be at the bottom of the ocean. Well, that's not exactly how Plato worded it. Like, a lot of people see the Sahara Desert, and they don't realize that this place was unbelievably different than it is today.
This discrepancy hasn't stopped theorists from suggesting that perhaps the Sahara's landscape was vastly different in the past, possibly even near water, or more hospitable than today's arid expanse. The Eye of the Sahara isn't just a geological wonder, it's a treasure trove of archaeological finds that shed light on ancient human life. Stone tools scattered around the area, including arrowheads, scrapers, and axes, tell tales of hunting and crafting. Pottery fragments whisper secrets of domestic life, indicating a significant leap in cultural and technological evolution. But it's the remnants of potential permanent settlements that really pique our curiosity, suggesting that this wasn't merely a waypoint for nomads, but a home for a settled community. The rock art adorning cliff faces and cave interiors near the Richat structure is nothing short of mesmerizing. These paintings and engravings, featuring animals like antelopes and elephants, transport us to a time when the Sahara thrived with life. Human figures and abstract designs depicted in these artworks offer glimpses into the social, cultural, and possibly spiritual lives of these ancient peoples. The rock art adorning cliff faces and cave interiors near the Rishat structure is nothing short of mesmerizing. These archaeological discoveries are not just remnants of a bygone era, they're pieces of a puzzle that help us piece together the story of human existence and evolution in the Sahara. They speak of adaptation and resilience in the face of climatic shifts that transformed a once lush region into the vast desert we see today. The prospect of permanent settlements, while still under investigation, opens new chapters in the story of African prehistory, enriching our understanding of early human societies on this diverse continent. It's a testament to the power of the past and how even the smallest clues can illuminate the vast tapestry of human history.
We have this curious stonework, and we also have it at Archaeologists in Turkey. Exactly the same kind of thing. Is this a coincidence, or is there something going on behind the scenes of history that we've not been fully informed about yet?
Perched high atop the rugged peaks of the Taurus Mountains in southeastern Turkey, the tomb of King Antiochus Theos of Commagene at Mount Nemrut beckons with the whispers of ancient secrets and celestial mysteries. Erected over 2 millennia ago, this monumental sanctuary is not only a marvel of Hellenistic engineering, but also a cryptic canvas of colossal gods and inscriptions that blend the myths of East and West. As the sun rises and sets, aligning perfectly with the stone behemoths that guard this sacred summit, the mystery deepens. What divine ambitions did this forgotten king harbor, and what secrets lie buried beneath these stone giants, silently watching over the empire of Commagene? For centuries, the towering statues of Mount Nemrut stood silently, known only to the local people who wove their existence into the fabric of local myths, calling it the throne of the gods. This mix of reverence and legend kept the site tucked away in the annals of folklore until a twist of fate brought it back into the light. In the 1880s, Karl Sester, a German road engineer working on infrastructure projects for the Ottoman Empire, stumbled upon these majestic relics not out of archaeological zeal, but through sheer happenstance. His subsequent sketches and reports were the first to unveil the grandeur of Nemrut's statues to the Western world, sparking a wave of interest among European archaeologists and historians. The rediscovery of Mount Nemrut set the stage for a series of explorations that would delve deeper into its historical and cultural contexts. Shortly after Sester, Osman Hamdi Bey, an Ottoman archaeologist and painter, conducted more systematic studies at the site. He proposed that the Grand Mound could very well be the tomb of King Antiochus III of Commagene, an idea supported by the inscriptions and formidable statues that guard the site. This period marked a significant turning point, drawing a flurry of academic expeditions that pieced together the narrative of King Antiochus I, while enriching the field of Near Eastern archaeology. The artistic styles of the statues, with their blend of Persian, Hellenistic, and indigenous elements, provide a fascinating glimpse into the cultural interplay of the Hellenistic period, post-Alexander the Great's conquests. This fusion of artistic influences offers a window into the dynamic cultural exchanges of the era, further underscoring the historical significance of southeastern Turkey as a cultural crossroads. Perched at an altitude of 2,134 meters in the rugged Taurus Mountains, Mount Nemrut commands a view that stretches vast and wide, overseeing the Euphrates River Valley. This strategic and visual dominance was no accident. It was a clear symbol of power and divine status, meticulously chosen by King Antiochus I. The site's layout, with its statues and burial mound aligned to catch the rays of the rising sun during the equinox and the setting sun at the summer solstice, underscores the solar worship prevalent during Antiochus's reign. This astronomical alignment not only highlights the king's desire to link himself with the cosmos, but also speaks volumes about the sophisticated understanding of celestial patterns by ancient civilizations. The mystical heights of Mount Nemrut in southeastern Turkey are not only a testament to ancient engineering, but also to the pioneering spirit of those who have uncovered its secrets. In 1953, American archaeologist Teresa Girl began a systematic exploration of this enigmatic site. which was particularly groundbreaking as it was one of the first major archaeological projects led by a woman. Her work, supported by institutions like the Bollingen Foundation, the American Philosophical Society, and later the National Geographic Society, was crucial for the sustained excavation and research that would follow. Despite numerous challenges, including harsh weather conditions and logistical issues in transporting equipment up the mountain, Girl's team persevered. Using traditional excavation techniques, Girl and her crew were meticulous in their approach, ensuring the integrity of every artifact and structure discovered. Their efforts unveiled not just the colossal statues, but also a series of reliefs and inscriptions that illuminated the cultural and religious life of the Kingdom of Commagene. These findings were pivotal in confirming that the tumulus was indeed the burial site of Antiochus III, aligning with earlier hypotheses about the site's purpose. As archaeological methods advanced, later explorations at Mount Nemrut incorporated technologies such as digital mapping and photogrammetry. These tools allowed archaeologists to capture high-resolution images of the site, which facilitated precise measurements and detailed records of the statues and inscriptions without risking physical damage. Techniques like ground-penetrating radar and electrical resistivity tomography were also employed to probe the internal structure of the tumulus, searching for potential burial chambers or other archaeological features without the need for invasive digging. Further studies have focused on the astronomical significance of the site's layout. Researchers suggest that the arrangement of the statues may align with the rising and setting of the sun during solstices and equinoxes, hinting at these events' religious or ceremonial importance in Antiochus's ideology. From the tomb of Antiochus the Baion at Mount Nemrut to the pyramids of Giza in Egypt, there lies a fascinating comparison. Both sites were built as tombs for their respective rulers, serving as monumental tributes to their power and divine status. However, while the pyramids are primarily massive stone structures designed to house the pharaoh's remains and belongings for the afterlife, Mount Nemrut combines burial purposes with a religious sanctuary, featuring colossal statues that showcase a blend of Hellenistic and Persian influences. Moreover, both sites exhibit significant astronomical alignments. The pyramids are meticulously aligned to the cardinal points, possibly reflecting celestial phenomena, while Nemrut's layout seems to focus on solar events, emphasizing the importance of astronomy in ancient religious and burial practices. This fascinating alignment hints at a deeper connection between celestial phenomena and the divine rites of ancient rulers, suggesting that these majestic sites were not only final resting places, but also key to understanding the cosmos itself. The artifacts and inscriptions unearthed at Mount Nemrut serve as crucial pieces in piecing together the reign of Antiochus III and the syncretic fabric of the Commagene kingdom. It's truly fascinating how these discoveries offer deep insights into his ambitions and ideological foundations. The inscriptions on Mount Nemrut are a linguistic blend of Greek and Persian, underscoring the dual influences that shaped the kingdom. Greek served as the lingua franca of the broader Hellenistic world, while Persian reflected the local traditions and the legacy of the Achaemenid Empire from which Commagene emerged. Delving deeper into the inscriptions, they frequently include detailed genealogies that link Antiochus to deities and illustrious rulers. This not only legitimized his rule, but also positioned him as a cultural and celestial bridge. Among these, the Nomos of Antiochus inscription is particularly noteworthy. This foundational text outlined the religious and administrative laws Antiochus established, detailing ritual practices and festivals to honor him alongside the gods after his death, effectively creating a state religion that deified the king. Turning our gaze to the statues and reliefs, the iconography at Mount Nemrut is nothing short of spectacular. The statues depict Antiochus III alongside a pantheon of gods such as Zeus Oromasdes, Apollo Mithras, and Hercules Artagnes, merging Greek and Persian divine figures. These statues are not only colossal but intricately carved from stone, showcasing a blend of artistic styles that highlight Antiochus's role as a mediator between his people and the divine. This symbolic placement elevates him to a semi-divine status, visually asserting his place in the cosmic order. An interesting parallel can be drawn between the statues at Mount Nemrut and China's Terracotta Army. Both serve profound funerary and commemorative purposes, standing as guardians over the afterlives of their respective rulers and as monumental tributes to their divine status. However, while the terracotta army underscores the military might of the Chinese emperor, the statues at Mount Nemrut emphasize a blend of military prowess and divine wisdom, reflecting Antiochus's unique approach to rulership. Moreover, one of the most captivating theories about Mount Nemrut concerns its astronomical alignment. Researchers suggest that the arrangement of the statues and the tumulus itself may align with astronomical phenomena such as solstices and equinoxes. This alignment might mark significant dates like Antiochus's birthday or coronation day, or serve to highlight seasonal festivals that reinforced his divine.
3 years after the fall of Jerusalem and the temple, when an arch of triumph was erected in Rome, 960 men were holding that cliff of Masada against the whole might of the Roman Empire. I had the honor and privilege to excavate the site completely, and in fact all the discoveries which we made prove that the story of Josephus Flavius was correct.
Perched high above the Dead Sea, the ancient fortress of Masada stands as a magnificent structure to human ingenuity and resilience. This awe-inspiring megastructure, discovered by scientists, reveals a fascinating blend of royal luxury and desperate defiance. But the story doesn't end there. Just a short distance away, the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls has added an even deeper layer of mystery and historical significance to the region. Join us as we unravel the secrets of Masada and explore how these incredible finds are reshaping our understanding of ancient civilizations. Masada is an ancient fortification located on a rugged, isolated rock plateau in the southeastern region of Israel, overlooking the western shore of the Dead Sea. This impressive site, also known as Metzada in Hebrew, symbolizes Jewish heroism due to its historical significance and dramatic landscape. Rising approximately 450 meters above the level of the Dead Sea, Masada is an imposing natural fortress. The plateau itself is about 600 meters long and 300 meters wide at its widest point, with a flat top covering around 9 hectares, roughly equivalent in size to 17 football fields. Constructed during the reign of Herod the Great between 37 and 31 BCE, Masada was chosen for its defensible position and strategic advantage. Herod, known for his monumental building projects, envisioned Masada as a refuge for himself and his followers in case of a revolt. The site gained particular historical prominence during the First Jewish-Roman battle. According to the Jewish historian Flavius Josephus, Masada became the last stronghold of Jewish rebels known as the Sicarii, who held out against a Roman siege. After a lengthy siege, the Romans constructed a massive ramp on the western side of the plateau to breach the walls. Masada has yielded a plethora of archaeological treasures that provide a vivid glimpse into the lives of its ancient inhabitants. The primary excavations conducted by Israeli archaeologist Yigael Yadin in the 1960s uncovered numerous artifacts and structures that tell the story of Herod's grand vision and the final stand of the Jewish rebels. Herod's palace complex at Masada is a testament to his architectural ambition and penchant for luxury. The complex is divided into several distinct sections. The northern palace is the most elaborate part, constructed on 3 rock terraces. The upper terrace housed living quarters and a semicircular portico that offered stunning views of the Dead Sea. The middle terrace featured an elaborate reception hall, while the lower terrace included a bathhouse with a sophisticated hypocaust heating system. The walls were adorned with frescoes depicting floral and geometric designs, and the floors were covered with intricate mosaics, showcasing the opulence of Herod's reign. The Western Palace served as the administrative hub, including living quarters, storerooms, and a large central courtyard. It also contained an audience room with a throne niche, indicating Herod's need for a formal space to conduct affairs of state. The palace's storerooms were well stocked with foodstuffs, wine, and oil, indicating meticulous preparation for a prolonged stay or siege. The palace complex featured several bathhouses, equipped with both cold and hot baths, steam rooms, and dressing rooms. These bathhouses were marvels of engineering, with sophisticated water heating and circulation systems that reflect the Roman influence on Herod's architectural style. The synagogue at Masada is one of the oldest synagogues discovered in Israel, providing a rare glimpse into Jewish religious practices during the Second Temple period. Stone benches lining the walls would have accommodated congregants during prayer and study. A small room adjacent to the main hall, believed to have been used to store religious texts, yielded fragments of biblical scrolls, including parts of Deuteronomy and Ezekiel, underscoring the spiritual life of the Masada inhabitants. The Roman ramp and surrounding siege camps are significant for understanding Roman military strategy and engineering prowess. Built on the western side of the plateau, the ramp is a massive earthwork structure, rising over 200 meters. Constructed by the 10th Roman Legion, the ramp allowed the Romans to move siege towers and battering rams to breach the fortress walls. 8 Roman camps encircled Masada, their outlines still visible today. These camps housed thousands of soldiers and included command centers, barracks, and supply depots. The largest camp, known as Camp F, served as the headquarters for the Roman commander, Lucius Flavius Silva. One fascinating theory posits that the Sicarii rebels might have engaged in psychological warfare against the Romans. Imagine the rebels using reflective surfaces, such as polished shields or metal objects, to create blinding flashes of sunlight aimed at the Roman soldiers. This clever tactic could have disrupted Roman activities and lowered their morale. While speculative, this theory adds a layer of intrigue to the story of Masada's defense. An interesting comparison can be made between Masada and Alcatraz Island in San Francisco Bay, USA. Both are isolated fortifications with dramatic histories of resistance and imprisonment. Alcatraz is famous for its use as a federal prison, known for holding notorious criminals and its almost impossible to escape location. Meanwhile, Masada is renowned for its role as a last stand against a powerful enemy. The structures on Masada were not carved directly from the mountain, but were built using stones quarried from the surrounding area. The natural features of the plateau were cleverly incorporated into the design, enhancing its defensive capabilities. Herod's engineers were particularly skilled, creating elaborate water systems, including cisterns capable of storing large quantities of water. This ensured a sustainable supply in the arid environment, a critical factor for the inhabitants' survival during sieges. Masada is not only a historical site but also a natural one, home to a variety of unique flora and fauna. The plateau and its surroundings are part of the Judean Desert, which hosts several species adapted to the harsh, arid environment. Among the interesting wildlife that can be spotted around Masada are the Nubian ibex, a type of wild goat known for its impressive climbing abilities, and the Tristram's starling, a bird recognizable by its glossy black feathers and orange wing patches. These species add an ecological dimension to the experience of visiting Masada, showcasing the biodiversity of the region alongside its rich history. One of the most significant ancient discoveries near Masada is the collection of texts known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. These ancient manuscripts were found in a series of caves around the site of Qumran, located about 20 kilometers northwest of Masada. The Dead Sea Scrolls were first discovered by Bedouin shepherds in 1947 and later excavated by archaeologists in the 1950s. Dating from the 3rd century BCE to the 1st century CE, these scrolls include some of the oldest known copies of the Hebrew Bible, along with a variety of other texts that shed light on the religious practices and beliefs of the time. The scrolls are composed of several types of writings. Around 40% of the scrolls are copies of texts from the Hebrew Bible, including parts of every book except Esther, providing critical insight into the early forms of the biblical manuscripts. There are also sectarian manuscripts, which include rules, hymns, and commentaries specific to the community believed to have inhabited Qumran, often identified as the Essenes. These documents offer a glimpse into the beliefs, practices, and daily life of this group. Additionally, there are apocryphal and pseudepigraphal texts, which are writings not included in the canonical Hebrew Bible. These include additional stories and interpretations that were part of the broader Jewish tradition at the time. The scrolls were found in 11 caves near Qumran, and the site itself has been extensively excavated. Archaeologists have uncovered ruins of a settlement that likely housed the Essenes, featuring communal dining rooms, ritual baths, and a scriptorium where some of the scrolls may have been copied. This settlement provides valuable context for the scrolls and insight into the community that produced and used them. There is a historical link between Masada and the Dead Sea Scrolls. Some of the scrolls found at Masada itself during Yigael Yadin's excavations included biblical texts similar to those discovered at Qumran. This suggests that the Jewish rebels who occupied Masada during the Roman siege might have brought these sacred texts with them, further highlighting the cultural and religious continuity in the region during that period. The discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls is often considered one of the greatest archaeological finds of the 20th century, providing invaluable insights into the history of Judaism and the early development of Christianity. The scrolls are now housed in the Shrine of the Book at the Israel Museum in Jerusalem, where they continue to be a major focus of scholarly research and public interest.
Are we secure on the dating of all the structures above water on Malta? And I suggest strongly that we're not.
Yeah.
There are very few carbon dates from Malta, and the new dating work that's been done there hasn't added usefully to that database. Been very little carbon dating done on the Maltese temples. And that carbon dating is itself insecure. Malta used to be joined to Sicily during the Ice Age. Malta wasn't an island, it was part of the mainland.
Yeah.
Imagine standing before structures that predate the Great Pyramids and Stonehenge, shrouded in mystery and built by a civilization lost to time.
I believe that's the time where we lost track of an episode in our story, where we lost track of an earlier civilization.
Welcome to the megalithic temples of Malta, some of the oldest freestanding structures on Earth. These architectural marvels are not only masterpieces of ancient engineering, but also portals into the past of a sophisticated society whose understanding of astronomy continues to intrigue scholars and scientists.
A deep understanding of astronomy that could only be gained through hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years of very careful observation.
Join us as we explore the secrets these stone giants hold, revealing insights into a world both ancient and astonishingly advanced. Despite their historical and architectural significance, these ancient temples were not recognized for their true value until the late 19th century. Before this period, local awareness of their antiquity was minimal, and preservation was not considered a priority. Throughout earlier centuries, the temples suffered from local farming and building practices that led to significant deterioration. Stones from these structures were frequently removed and repurposed for new construction projects.
A lot of archaeology that gets done doesn't get done because of a targeted search. It may be because a dam is being built or a new highway is being built.
The first documented mention of the temples appeared in Jean-Quentin d'Autun's 1536 publication Insulae Militae Descriptio, which noted the existence of ancient ruins on Malta, though detailed archaeological interest would only take shape much later. Dating from 3600 BC to 2500 BC, these temples are older than both Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids. Recognizing their profound historical and cultural significance, several of the temples were designated as UNESCO World Heritage Sites in 1980. This recognition was a crucial step in ensuring their preservation and promoting further scholarly research and public awareness. Systematic studies and excavations of these sites began in earnest in the early 20th century with Sir Themistocles Zamet, a man of many talents including archaeology, medicine, history, and curation. Starting around 1905, Zamet's extensive archaeological work marked a significant pivot towards the scientific exploration of these structures. His efforts established a chronological framework for the construction and usage of the temples, greatly enhancing our understanding of prehistoric Maltese culture.
A lost civilization of prehistoric antiquity.
Zamet's findings not only attracted international scholarly interest, but also helped increase tourism, bringing additional funding and support for further studies. Among his discoveries were numerous artifacts, including pottery, tools, and the iconic Fat Lady figurines, thought to represent a fertility goddess or a maternal figure. Continuing from the fascinating historical backdrop and archaeological discoveries, the megalithic temples of Malta are not just ancient architectural marvels. They are sophisticated structures that intricately reflect the socio-religious fabric of the society that constructed them. Their design demonstrates an advanced knowledge of stonework and astronomy. The temples are renowned for their unique trefoil layout, which consists of 3 semicircular chambers connected by a central corridor. This design is not only unique to Maltese temple architecture, but is also laden with symbolic meanings. It could represent various stages of life, celestial bodies, or deities from local mythology, with the repetition of the number 3 perhaps signifying a sacred or divine principle in their cosmology. Functionally, these chambers likely serve diverse ritualistic or communal purposes, each possibly dedicated to different aspects of life or deities. The layout itself facilitates processional movements, which are believed to have been part of the ritual activities conducted within these sacred spaces. Moreover, the orientation and layout of the temples are marked by astronomical precision. For instance, the Manadra South Temple aligns with the equinox sunrise, allowing light to flood the main corridor and central chambers at specific times of the year. This dramatic interplay of light and shadows could have been crucial for marking seasonal changes and regulating ceremonial calendars.
There was a highly sophisticated knowledge of the precession of the equinoxes, that it's impossible to trace how far back it goes.
The choice of temple locations also takes into account visual and environmental factors, such as line of sight to important landscape features, horizon visibility for astronomical observations, and protection from prevailing winds, showing a sophisticated integration of architecture with the natural landscape. The structural engineering techniques used in the temples also reveal the builders' innovative approaches. The use of corbelling, where stones are laid horizontally and each successive layer extends slightly beyond the one below, allowed the creation of self-supporting domed or vaulted structures. This early form of arch construction, predating Roman arches, illustrates their advanced engineering capabilities. Additionally, the flexibility inherent in the corbelling and the interlocking of megaliths without mortar could have provided some resistance to seismic activity, an important consideration given Malta's location within the Mediterranean seismic belt. The decorative elements of the temples further enrich their architectural sophistication. Elaborate carvings and reliefs, including spirals, animal figures, and plant motifs, are deeply engraved into the limestone. These decorations are not merely ornamental, they are imbued with symbolic meanings, possibly representing fertility, the cycle of life, or a connection to nature. Artifacts such as the famous Fat Lady sculptures and other statuettes found in and around the temples suggest that these sites also served as focal points for art and culture. Additionally, traces of red ochre found on some temple walls indicate that color was used either to enhance certain carvings or to demarcate special areas within the temples, adding another layer to the sophisticated aesthetic and ceremonial aspects of the temple architecture. The construction techniques used in the megalithic temples of Malta further highlight the advanced engineering of their creators. The construction of these ancient temples showcases an exceptional mastery of various techniques that have contributed to their preservation through millennia.
I can't help thinking time capsule, that there was an intention to preserve this.
One of the most critical materials in the construction of these temples is Globigerina limestone, a sedimentary rock predominant in the Maltese archipelago. Notably soft when freshly quarried, this limestone allowed artisans to carve intricate details and shape the stones with relative ease. As the limestone is exposed to air, it undergoes a hardening process due to the gradual evaporation of inherent moisture and crystallization of minerals. This transformation significantly enhances the resilience and longevity of the structures. The intricate carvings on the temple walls, including spiral designs and animal figures, attest to the high level of craftsmanship and the advanced tools and techniques employed during their creation. The logistics involved in moving and assembling massive limestone blocks, some weighing several tons, were formidable. Theories suggest that the builders might have used log rollers, stone balls, or sledges made from tree trunks, often lubricated with plant oils or animal fats to reduce friction. This suggests a highly organized society with clear hierarchies and labor specialization, capable of coordinating large-scale construction efforts. There is also evidence to suggest that ramps made from earth or smaller stones were used to position these large blocks, similar to techniques used in other ancient civilizations. Moreover, the temples exemplify an advanced use of mortarless construction. Builders employed a technique of cutting and fitting stones so precisely that no mortar was needed to hold them together. This dry stone technique, known for its durability and flexibility in seismic activity, involves crafting joints that interlock without gaps. The lack of mortar not only prevents erosion, but also allows the structures to breathe during earthquakes, enabling the stones to shift slightly and settle back without causing structural damage. a technique that has proven effective in other earthquake-prone regions like those encountered by Inca architects. It's fascinating to draw parallels and contrast these ancient marvels with other legendary structures like Machu Picchu. Both sites utilize mortarless construction techniques, which not only exemplifies the precision of stone cutting in ancient times, but also ensures the stability and longevity of these structures. This shared approach underlines a profound understanding of stone properties and structural engineering across two very different cultures. However, the cultural contexts and geographical settings of the megalithic temples and Machu Picchu are distinctly different. The temples in Malta were primarily religious structures. In contrast, Machu Picchu likely served a dual purpose as both a royal estate and a religious retreat, possibly. Geographically, the Maltese temples are nestled on a small island terrain, whereas Machu Picchu sits high in the Andes Mountains. These differences reflect how each culture adapted its architectural styles and techniques to fit its environment and societal needs. During World War II, Malta's strategic position in the Mediterranean made it a prime target, leading to heavy bombings. The value of the megalithic temples was recognized during these turbulent times, prompting significant protective measures. One notable method was the sand covering technique used at sites like Hagar Kim, where heaps of earth and sand were piled over the temples to cushion the impact of bomb blasts and prevent damage from flying debris. While this method helped prevent direct damage during air raids, it also introduced challenges like moisture retention, which could accelerate erosion of the stonework. After the war, extensive surveys and careful removal of sand were necessary to assess any damage and prevent further stress on the ancient stones. These ongoing research and conservation efforts are vital for sustaining the legacy of the megalithic temples of Malta, allowing future generations to marvel at these testaments to human ingenuity and resilience.
Homo sapiens line descends from a line that goes back about 6 million years, not much further than that, if we accept conventional evolutionary theory. So 6 million years ago, Antarctica is supposed to have been as cold and as frozen as it is today. And there's undoubtedly a time, they found fossils on Antarctica, there's undoubtedly a time when Antarctica was lush and green. The question is, was it lush and green during the lifetime of the human species?
Yes.
Graham Hancock's theories about an ancient civilization in Antarctica are quite intriguing, although they veer significantly from mainstream scientific views. He speculates that a part of this lost advanced civilization was located in what's now the icy expanse of Antarctica. This is a striking thought considering Antarctica's current freezing conditions. He links this to the hypothesis of Earth crust displacement.
The entire outer crust of the Earth, like the skin of an orange, might shift, leaving the core of the Earth in place.
This theory suggests that Antarctica wasn't always at the South Pole, but might have been in a more temperate region, allowing a civilization to thrive. However, it's crucial to note that this idea of Earth crust displacement isn't supported by the current scientific understanding of plate tectonics, which doesn't allow for such rapid and dramatic shifts of the Earth's crust. Hancock also delves into mythology, drawing connections between various global myths, legends, and religious texts. He interprets these as allegorical references to this lost civilization, particularly focusing on stories of great floods or cataclysms. He proposes that such a cataclysm, maybe a flood or a comet impact, led to the downfall of this advanced civilization.
To me, the obvious answer is we are dealing with the fingerprints of a lost civilization that mapped the world and that left evidence of that mapping.
According to his theory, survivors of this catastrophe might have traveled the world, spreading their advanced knowledge, significantly influencing the development of later civilizations like the Egyptians and Sumerians. One of the more fascinating aspects of his theory is how he points out the similarities in architectural structures and astronomical alignments at various ancient sites. He sees these as potential evidence of a shared origin of knowledge, suggesting that this knowledge could have been passed down from the earlier civilization. Hancock believes that this civilization's legacy includes not just advanced architectural techniques and astronomical observations, but potentially other lost technologies and wisdom.
The date that Göbekli Tepe in Turkey is built, 11,600 years ago. That, weirdly, is the date that Plato's Timaeus and Critias gives for the submergence of Atlantis.
While his ideas certainly capture the imagination, it's important to remember that they are viewed with skepticism by the scientific community. Antarctica during the Eocene epoch was a completely different world from what we know today. It was actually positioned over the South Pole, just like it is now, but the climate back then was way warmer, allowing for a whole different kind of environment. This was a time when the continents were still shifting around after the breakup of the supercontinent Pangaea. So Antarctica, which was part of what we call Gondwana, was slowly moving to where it sits now, all isolated at the bottom of the world. This shifting around of continents, like Australia and South America moving away, played a big role in changing ocean currents and the climate. One of the most striking things about Antarctica back then was that it didn't have the massive ice sheet it has today. This absence of ice was mainly because of the much warmer global temperatures at the time. This had a big knock-on effect on the planet's climate, as the reflective ice that sends solar radiation back into space wasn't there, adding to the overall warmth. The tectonic movements during the Eocene were also pretty significant. The breakup of Gondwana was a major event reshaping the layout of the Earth's land and water. A key moment was the opening of the Drake Passage, the stretch of water between Antarctica and South America. This opening was a game-changer because it led to the creation of the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, which is a massive ocean current that goes around Antarctica. This current had a huge impact on the climate. It kind of put Antarctica in a climatic bubble, circulating cold water around it and stopping the warmer waters from the north from getting through. This is believed to have played a big part in cooling down Antarctica and leading to the ice-covered continent we know today. As for what life was like back then, the fossil records are really fascinating. They show that Antarctica supported a diverse range of plants and even animals. We're talking about temperate to subtropical forests with beeches, conifers and ferns. Imagine that in place of today's icy desert. These fossils tell us the climate was much warmer and humid, and then there's the sea level, which was way higher than what we see now because there weren't those big ice caps locking up all that water.
So this is how do you know that sea level rose? There are certain corals that can only exist within a certain number of feet of the sea's surface.
This meant that the coastline and the shape of the land were quite different, and some places that are land now were underwater back then. The warmer temperatures and higher sea levels would have made the marine life around Antarctica rich and diverse, very different from what's there now. The Eocene epoch, which lasted from about 56 to 34 million years ago, was a really interesting time in Earth's history. It was part of this bigger period called the Paleogene period, and it's a part of what scientists call the Cenozoic era. This era is often nicknamed the Age of Mammals because it's when mammals started to diversify a lot, especially after the dinosaurs had their big exit at the end of the Cretaceous period. During the Eocene, the world's continents were on the move, drifting towards where they are now. This movement was a big deal because it changed how ocean currents flowed and affected the climate in a bunch of ways. Now, one of the most dramatic things about the Eocene was this event called the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum. This happened around 56 million years ago, and it was a time when the Earth got really warm, really fast. Temperatures shot up by 5 to 8 degrees Celsius in just a few thousand years. Scientists think this might have been because of a ton of methane being released from the ocean floor. This warming had a huge impact on life on Earth. In the oceans, some species went extinct, while on land, mammals started to evolve and diversify like crazy. The levels of CO2 in the atmosphere were also way higher than what we have today. Estimates say it was between 1,000 to 2,000 parts per million, which is a lot compared to the pre-industrial level of about 280 ppm. This high level of CO2 came from things like volcanic activity, burning of organic matter, and because natural carbon sinks weren't as effective. One of the big differences between the Eocene and now was that there were no major ice sheets at the poles. This is really different from today, where we've got big ice caps in both the Arctic and Antarctic. Because the Earth was so much warmer, the temperature difference between the equator and the poles wasn't as extreme as it is now. As a result, the polar regions were much warmer than they are today, and because there was less ice, sea levels were higher. This means a lot of water that's currently frozen in ice was in the ocean back then. This affected marine life a lot, changing where different species lived and leading to the development of new types of marine ecosystems.
One of the things I find most striking is the presence of Antarctica on ancient maps, because we didn't discover it until 1820.
Now, Graham has a really fascinating theory about an ancient advanced civilization that he believes existed long before the civilizations we commonly recognize, like the Sumerians of Mesopotamia. His idea pushes the timeline of advanced human societies back tens of thousands of years, possibly even to the last ice age. This is a huge leap from the established historical understanding, which generally sees complex societies and civilizations emerging more recently. Hancock points to the incredible architectural feats of ancient megalithic structures like those at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, Stonehenge in England, and various sites in Egypt and Mesoamerica. He sees these as evidence of a highly advanced architectural knowledge. Moreover, he talks about the astronomical precision of these structures. For instance, how the Great Pyramids of Giza align with the stars of Orion's belt, or how Stonehenge aligns with the solstices and equinoxes. These aren't just random placements. They suggest a deep understanding of the stars and seasons. He also believes this civilization had impressive navigational skills, which might explain how similar architectural and astronomical concepts appeared across different continents. But it's not just about the buildings and their alignments with celestial events. Hancock thinks these ancient monuments reflect a comprehensive knowledge of astronomy that was integrated into the culture and religious practices of the time. He also suggests evidence of sophisticated urban planning in ancient ruins, indicating a level of societal organization and city-building knowledge that's not typically credited to prehistoric societies. Then there's the idea of a global spread of knowledge. Hancock theorizes that the similarities in architectural styles and astronomical knowledge across various ancient cultures around the world point to a common, advanced source of knowledge. This knowledge could have been spread by the survivors of this ancient society. Graham Hancock's theory really takes a global perspective when it comes to the influence of this ancient, advanced civilization he proposes. He thinks that this civilization had a major impact all over the world. It's not just a localized phenomenon, but something that reached across continents. According to him, we can see traces of this civilization in the myths, architectural designs, and astronomical knowledge of many different ancient cultures. He's suggesting that there's a kind of cultural diffusion that took place from this lost civilization to later societies. So when we see similar styles in buildings or common themes in religious beliefs and astronomical practices across various ancient cultures, he interprets this as evidence of their influence. He goes further to speculate that after some huge disaster that brought this civilization down, the survivors might have spread out to different areas of the world. These survivors, he believes, were the ones who passed on their advanced knowledge, and this played a crucial role in the development of the civilizations we know about from history, like the Egyptians and Sumerians. Now, when it comes to evidence, Hancock looks at archaeological sites and findings that he feels mainstream archaeology hasn't been able to fully explain. He talks about structures that, to him, seem like they needed pretty advanced engineering or astronomical know-how to build. He also dives into ancient texts and myths, interpreting them not just as stories or legends, but as allegorical records of real historical events. Think of tales about great floods or lost lands like Atlantis. Hancock sees these as collective memories of the lost civilization. He also notes that there are these cross-cultural similarities, like how myths from different parts of the world seem to share common themes, or how architectural styles and astronomical knowledge seem to echo each other even across cultures that supposedly never interacted. To Hancock, this points to a shared older source of knowledge.
It was held that the Neanderthals were stupid, primitive subhumans, shambling, lacking symbolism. Turns out that that's not true at all. What first drew me into it was Denisova Cave in Siberia. What they discover is, this isn't a Neanderthal. This is another human species.
The Denisova Cave, nestled in the Bashalaksky range of the Altai Mountains, holds a special place in the world of archaeology and human evolution studies. This remarkable site, located at the convergence of Russia, China, Mongolia, and Kazakhstan, is renowned for its rugged terrain and rich biodiversity. The Altai Mountains, a region with a complex geological history, are home to diverse flora and fauna and numerous caves, including the Denisova Cave.
Denisova Cave is a fascinating, beautiful place to visit. It's another example of a missing chapter in the human story that is beginning to be pieced together.
Interestingly, the cave was initially explored in the 1970s by Soviet scientists who were more focused on geology and paleontology. At that time, the archaeological significance of the cave wasn't fully recognized. It was named after Denis, a hermit who lived there in the 18th century, adding a layer of cultural history to the site. The cave itself comprises several chambers and galleries, which have revealed signs of long-term habitation by various groups, including ancient hominins. The turning point in understanding the cave's importance came with the discovery of a Denisovan finger bone in 2008. This discovery catapulted the Denisova cave into the limelight of international scientific research. Excavations since then have unveiled a rich stratigraphy, replete with artifacts and hominin remains, showing that the cave was a hub of activity over tens of thousands of years. What makes this cave even more fascinating is its remote location and the challenging climatic conditions of the Altai Mountains, which add a layer of complexity to archaeological expeditions. Researchers from around the world have been drawn to this site, striving to uncover its secrets.
The genome of the Denisovans and revealed the Denisovan connection to anatomically modern humans.
The story of the Denisovans is a truly fascinating one, revealing a complex and intriguing chapter in our prehistoric past. This group of extinct archaic humans came into the spotlight in 2010 with a remarkable discovery in the Denisova cave in Siberia. Initially, scientists thought they had found a Neanderthal bone, but DNA analysis told a different story. It was a finger bone fragment, but not from a Neanderthal. Instead, it unveiled a distinct genetic profile, marking the identification of an entirely new group of ancient humans, the Denisovans. Genetically, the Denisovans were unique, distinct both from modern humans and Neanderthals. The DNA suggested a divergence from Neanderthals around 400,000 years ago, a detail that has added depth to our understanding of human evolution during the Pleistocene era. But the physical appearance of the Denisovans is still largely a mystery. We have only a finger bone, a few teeth, and a fragment of a skull. These limited fossils, robust in nature, hint that the Denisovans were well adapted to the harsh environments of Pleistocene Asia, possibly physically formidable. What's truly remarkable is the Denisovans' genetic legacy in modern humans. Certain populations, particularly in Asia and Oceania, carry Denisovan DNA, a testament to ancient interbreeding.
Denisovan DNA survives, interestingly enough. It survives predominantly in Australasia, in Papua New Guinea and amongst Australian Aborigines.
The indigenous populations in Melanesia, like the Papua New Guineans, show the highest known Denisovan ancestry. About 5% of their DNA is Denisovan. This interbreeding wasn't just with modern humans, they also mingled with Neanderthals, showing a pattern of intermixing among different archaic human species that was more common than we previously thought. And the Denisovans might not have just mingled with known species. Recent studies suggest they might have interbred with another, yet unidentified, ancient human lineage. But what about their culture? While direct evidence is scarce, the Denisova cave has yielded sophisticated stone tools, a bone needle, and jewelry.
There are indications of strangely out-of-place technology amongst the Denisovans, which is 20,000–30,000 years earlier in the human story than it should be.
The impact of the Denisovans on evolutionary biology has been nothing short of revolutionary. They've reshaped our understanding of human evolution, showing us a more intricate history than we once understood. They've also opened up new questions about migration, adaptation, and survival of archaic human populations in Eurasia, but there's still so much we don't know. Research into the Denisovans is ongoing, with scientists piecing together more information from the limited material available. The Denisovan genome in particular is a goldmine. Now moving on to other unsolved mysteries and events in the frigid lands of Siberia, the Tunguska event of 1908 is a story that sounds like it's straight out of a science fiction novel, but it's all real and incredibly intriguing. On June 30th, 1908, something extraordinary happened near the Podkamanaya Tunguska River in central Siberia. An explosion so massive that it flattened about 80 million trees over 2,150 square kilometers occurred. Just to put it in perspective, this blast was about 1,000 times more powerful than the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The shockwave was so immense that it was felt up to 2,000 kilometers away. Eyewitnesses described a bright blue light, almost as bright as the sun, and a series of explosions that were followed by a shockwave that knocked people off their feet and broke windows hundreds of kilometers away. The first scientific investigation was conducted by Leonid Kulik, a Russian mineralogist, in 1927. Kulik expected to find a meteorite crater at the site, but instead found a large area of flattened trees radiating outward from a central point with no apparent crater. The leading theory suggests that a small asteroid or comet fragment exploded in the Earth's atmosphere about 5 to 10 kilometers high, releasing energy equivalent to 15 megatons of TNT.
The region of Tunguska sees the biggest explosion in human history. In 1 hour, the explosion and the great fire that followed destroy a region of forest the size of Greater London.
But there are other theories too. Some scientists think it could have been a natural gas leak from within the Earth that ignited in the atmosphere. There are even more exotic theories like antimatter or a miniature black hole colliding with Earth. The environmental impact of this explosion was significant. It led to increased rates of tree growth in the affected area and reports of genetic mutations in plants and animals, possibly due to the intense heat and shockwave. Moreover, the event had global atmospheric repercussions, contributing to the formation of noctilucent clouds and a decrease in atmospheric transparency observed in Europe and Asia. But with all great mysteries come numerous conspiracy theories and speculations. The Tunguska event is no exception. Its mysterious nature has fueled theories about extraterrestrial involvement and secret weapons tests. Despite all the research and theories, the Tunguska event remains one of the 20th century's greatest unsolved mysteries. The Valley of Death in Siberia's Yakutia region is a place that's as mysterious as its name suggests. It's nestled in the northeastern part of Siberia, in the Sakha Republic, known for its extreme climate swings, from scorching summers to winters that are brutally cold. But what really draws attention to this place are the unusual metallic structures scattered throughout the area. These structures are shrouded in mystery, with descriptions varying from dome-like formations to metal objects that are partially buried in the earth. Their origins and compositions are still a puzzle waiting to be solved. Access to the Valley of Death is quite a challenge due to its remote location and harsh climate. The area is mostly accessible only during certain seasons, which makes exploration and research quite difficult. And then there's the local folklore. The Yakut people have long spoken of this valley and its mysterious structures, often associating them with danger and mystique. There are tales suggesting that these structures might be ancient artifacts with unknown powers or energies. Some even say that people and animals have suffered ill effects, like illness or even death after getting too close to these structures. While these stories are compelling, they are, after all, part of local lore and lack scientific verification. But scientists have their theories too. One of them suggests that these structures could be remnants of meteorite impacts, especially considering Siberia's history with events like the Tunguska explosion. These could be unusually large or unique meteoritic fragments. Another theory points towards the possibility of these structures being ancient man-made artifacts, perhaps linked to early human inhabitants or an unknown civilization that once dwelled in prehistoric Siberia. However, exploring this area is no small feat. The extreme weather conditions, coupled with the region's remoteness, pose significant challenges. Winter temperatures often plummet below -50 degrees Celsius, and summers bring their own challenges like flooding and swarms of insects. The lack of infrastructure and limited access to the region further complicates sustained scientific research. This has resulted in limited empirical data about these structures.
It's obvious now that we were not alone, that there were multiple other human species who were human enough to interbreed with us and leave DNA.
The mystery surrounding it extends beyond science, attracting historians, paranormal enthusiasts, and even tourists. Its secret nature fuels speculation and interest in Siberia's ancient past and unexplored territories. As exploration and technology advance, it's possible that we might unravel more secrets of this mysterious valley.
They had a tradition that at that time, the world had been previously destroyed. And they dreaded lest a similar catastrophe would, at the end of a cycle, annihilate the human race. It's features like this that are just unequivocal in terms of realizing that this really happened. Human sacrifices were offered, while the entire population passed the night upon their knees, awaiting their doom. These people imagined the world would end.
The Younger Dryas period, named after the Dryas octopetala flower which thrived in cold conditions and became common in Europe during this time, presents a fascinating chapter in Earth's history. This period, spanning approximately from 12,800 to 11,500 years ago, marks a transition from the late Pleistocene to the early Holocene. It's characterized by a dramatic downturn in temperature, disrupting the gradual warming trend following the last glacial maximum, the coldest phase of the last ice age. This abrupt shift led to a drop in temperatures estimated to be between 2 to 6 degrees Celsius in a relatively short time.
When the world went cold again during the Younger Dryas, the meltwater flowing from the glaciers into the oceans declined if it didn't stop altogether. And then about 1,300 years later, boom, it started up again. And that gave us meltwater pulse 1b.
The effects of the Younger Dryas were not just confined to the North Atlantic region, but were felt globally, with evidence of climatic changes found in Asia, South America, and even the Southern Hemisphere. The resulting cold and dry conditions had a significant impact on vegetation patterns, ecosystems, and human populations dependent on hunting and foraging. Adding to the intrigue of this period is the proposed comet impact hypothesis. This theory posits that a comet, or fragments of one, struck Earth or exploded in the atmosphere, potentially in multiple waves. The impact, likened to the energy release of several nuclear explosions, is thought to have triggered widespread wildfires, consuming vast areas of forests and grasslands. These fires likely contributed to the formation of the black mat layer, a carbon-rich deposit found at numerous Younger Dryas sites. Supporters of this hypothesis point to evidence such as microspherules and nanodiamonds, typically formed under high-impact conditions, and elevated levels of rare elements like iridium and platinum to bolster their claims.
The reason it's black is because it's so loaded with soot, which suggests wildfires perhaps on a global or at least a hemispheric scale that preceded the tremendous flooding that followed in its wake.
Charcoal and soot layers in geological records also align with this time frame, suggesting extensive burning. However, the hypothesis is not without its challenges and controversies. One major point of contention is the absence of a clear impact crater, typically expected from such an event. Proponents argue that the comet might have disintegrated in the atmosphere or struck an ice sheet, leaving no obvious crater. Additionally, critics propose alternative explanations for the climatic shift, such as changes in ocean circulation patterns or volcanic activity. The debate continues as the evidence for a comet impact, while compelling, is not universally accepted. The Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, which suggests a comet impact around 12,800 years ago, is a topic that really captures the imagination with its blend of geological mysteries and climatic upheaval. At the heart of this hypothesis is an array of geological evidence. For instance, nanodiamonds, these tiny diamonds formed under extreme pressure, have been found across North America, Europe, and parts of Asia in sediment layers dating back to the Younger Dryas period. Their presence in such widespread locations hints at a high-energy event on a global scale. Similarly intriguing are microspherules, small spherical particles often linked to extraterrestrial impacts or volcanic eruptions. The high concentrations of these particles found in the Younger Dryas boundary layers further point to a large impact event, but there's more. We see other materials like elevated levels of iridium, rare on Earth but common in meteorites, and magnetic grains containing iridium. Plus, the discovery of soot and carbon-rich layers in these same sediments suggests widespread burning, likely due to wildfires ignited by the impact.
Now, these shock-synthesized hexagonal diamonds only occur. There's no known natural process that will produce them, except for the intense heat and pressures of a cosmic impact. Evidence of impact material and the extinction of the megafauna 12,900 years ago. The impact material contains iron oxide spherules in a glassy iron-silica matrix, which is one indicator of a possible meteorite impact.
Then there are the Carolina Bays, these elliptical depressions along the US Atlantic seaboard. Their origin is hotly debated, but some researchers think they might be craters from secondary impacts of comet fragments, aligning in a pattern that could suggest a comet coming from the northwest. The climatic impact of this proposed event is just as dramatic. Imagine a comet impact throwing massive amounts of dust, soot, and particulate matter into the atmosphere. This debris, spreading globally, would have blocked sunlight, leading to a sudden drop in temperatures. This is exactly what we see when we look at climate models and ice core data from Greenland and Antarctica, which show a sharp temperature decline coinciding with the time of the proposed impact. The cooling effect was particularly strong in the northern hemisphere, with temperature drops estimated between 3 to 11 degrees Celsius in some regions. And if that wasn't enough, the comet impact could have also disrupted major ocean currents, like the Atlantic meridional overturning circulation, leading to even further cooling, especially in the North Atlantic. During the transition from the Pleistocene epoch to the Holocene, which roughly overlaps with the Younger Dryas period, something dramatic happened in North America: the extinction of numerous large mammal species. This included some iconic megafauna like woolly mammoths, mastodons, saber-toothed cats, giant ground sloths, and even the North American camel and horse. These extinctions weren't evenly spread across regions, with North America being particularly hard hit. Now, the intriguing part is the timing of these extinctions, which coincides with the Younger Dryas period. This has led proponents of the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis to suggest a connection between the comet impact and these mass extinctions. They argue that the comet impact would have triggered a cascade of ecological disruptions, including wildfires, climate change, and disruptions in the food chain. These sudden environmental changes might have outpaced the ability of these large species to adapt, ultimately leading to their demise. However, it's important to note that there are opposing views. Some scientists argue for alternative explanations, such as the overkill hypothesis, which suggests that human overhunting played a significant role in these extinctions. Others propose natural climatic changes independent of any impact event as potential drivers.
Now, in these events that terminated the Ice Age, roughly half the great megafaunal species on Earth died out very rapidly. All of a sudden, around 12,000 to 13,000 years ago, a huge number of fossil remains were introduced into the environment. And then at the end of this, these species are extinct. They don't exist anymore. Like it says here, each square represents a fossil specimen of an extinct megafaunal species.
So the debate continues, and the impact hypothesis is just one of several competing theories. The Younger Dryas impact hypothesis doesn't stop at biological consequences. It also has implications for early human populations, particularly the Clovis culture. This culture, known for its distinctive stone tools, was widespread across North America during the same time frame as the Younger Dryas. Researchers have noticed a connection between the apparent disappearance or transformation of the Clovis culture and the onset of the Younger Dryas. This suggests that the proposed impact event might have significantly disrupted the way of life for these ancient people. The rapid shift to colder, drier conditions during the Younger Dryas would have undoubtedly affected the availability of food and resources for these hunter-gatherer populations. The changes in megafauna populations, which were a crucial resource for Clovis people, would have compounded these challenges. Archaeological evidence supports this idea of adaptation. There's a noticeable change in human tool technology and subsistence patterns after the Younger Dryas, reflecting a response to new environmental conditions and available resources. This period also marks the emergence of more regionally diverse cultures compared to the previously widespread Clovis technology. Carlson draws attention to rapid temperature changes in Earth's history, particularly emphasizing events like the Younger Dryas, a period marked by a sudden return to near-glacial conditions after a period of warming. His perspective challenges the conventional view of gradual climate shifts and instead suggests a dynamic and potentially unstable climate system. He points to historical precedents, such as the Bolling-Alerod warming period before the Younger Dryas, where rapid shifts in climate are evident in paleoclimatic records. These events have been studied to understand the sensitivity and resilience of the Earth's climate system. One of Carlson's intriguing hypotheses is the idea that comet and asteroid impacts may have played a more significant role in Earth's history than currently recognized. He speculates that these impacts could have triggered ice ages or abrupt climatic shifts, potentially even contributing to mass extinctions. In the context of the Younger Dryas, Carlson and other proponents of the impact hypothesis argue that a cosmic impact event was a primary trigger for the abrupt climate change observed during this period. They point to geological and ice core evidence to support their claims. Ice core records, particularly from Greenland and Antarctica, offer detailed insights into past climates. Carlson highlights layers in these cores that correspond to rapid changes in temperature and atmospheric composition, which he interprets as evidence for catastrophic events. Other geological markers, like sediment layers rich in iridium or elements linked to extraterrestrial materials, further support the impact hypothesis.
The presence of shock-synthesized hexagonal and other nanometer-sized diamonds in younger Dryas boundary sediments in association with soot and other wildfire indicators is consistent with a cosmic impact event of 12.9 Ka.
Randall Carlson's theory proposes the existence of advanced human civilizations that thrived long before the commonly accepted timeline of known history, potentially even preceding the last ice age, which ended roughly 11,700 years ago. This challenges the conventional view that attributes the emergence of civilization to much later periods, such as the Sumerian and ancient Egyptian civilizations that arose around 6,000 years ago. According to Carlson, these prehistoric societies weren't just technologically advanced, they also possessed profound spiritual understanding and wisdom. He speculates that their technological capabilities could have included advanced architecture, astronomy, and other sciences, far surpassing what is typically associated with prehistoric cultures. To support his theory, Carlson points to the complexity and sophistication of ancient structures like the pyramids of Egypt, Stonehenge, and various megalithic sites worldwide. He argues that the precision in construction, astronomical alignments, and engineering skills evident in these structures suggest a higher level of knowledge and technological capability than mainstream archaeology typically acknowledges. Many of these ancient structures exhibit precise alignments with astronomical phenomena, such as solstices and equinoxes, which Carlson suggests is evidence of advanced astronomical knowledge. For instance, the layout of the Giza pyramid complex is aligned with the stars in the belt of the constellation Orion, while Stonehenge aligns with the solstices. One of Carlson's key ideas is that these advanced ancient civilizations might have met their downfall due to catastrophic events, like comet impacts or other natural disasters. These disasters could have wiped out significant populations, leading to the loss of knowledge and technology. He also posits that remnants of this lost knowledge can be found in mythologies, religious texts, and ancient symbols across different cultures. According to Carlson, these ancient stories and symbols may contain allegorical references to real events and the lost advanced knowledge of these prehistoric civilizations.
If we're only looking for a mere reflection of ourselves, some modern researchers whose work has been buried or suppressed, I think we're getting very close to rediscovering some of the things that our ancient ancestors were up to. There are people who've been working on these things for decades now, basically in secret.
Randall Carlson's ideas about sacred geometry in relation to ancient megalithic structures are truly interesting. He delves deep into the idea that ancient civilizations had a profound understanding of geometric principles and deliberately incorporated these into their monuments. It's a mix of mathematics and archaeology. Let's start with the basics of sacred geometry. This concept revolves around using key geometric shapes like circles, squares, triangles, and hexagons believed to have mystical significance. Think about a circle representing unity or infinity, and a square symbolizing stability. It's about finding deeper meaning in these fundamental shapes.
In the golden section, or the divine proportion, we're looking for that one magic point where the ratio of the small section is to the large section exactly as the large section is to the whole line.
Then there's the golden ratio, phi. This specific ratio pops up everywhere in nature and art, and it's almost like a mathematical fingerprint of the universe. Carlson points out that many megalithic structures seem to follow this golden ratio in their design, which is pretty mind-blowing if you think about it. And we can't forget the Fibonacci sequence, that series where each number is the sum of the two before it. This sequence is found in the natural world, like in the spirals of seashells and even galaxies. Carlson suggests that this pattern of growth and expansion is reflected in the design of ancient structures. Fractals are another piece of the puzzle. These are patterns that repeat at different scales and are found in natural phenomena like coastlines and trees. The idea that ancient builders used fractals in their structures implies a deep understanding of the universe's interconnectedness.
When you actually have that mindset that you're creating something that is unique and something that resonates with higher principles.
Carlson also talks about mandalas and labyrinths. Mandalas, with their intricate geometric patterns, are used in Hinduism and Buddhism to represent the cosmos. Labyrinths have been used in various cultures for spiritual and meditative purposes. According to Carlson, places like the Nazca lines in Peru might have mandala-like designs intended for ritual use. Then there's the significance of sacred numbers like 3, 7, and 12, which have symbolic meanings in many traditions. He argues that these numbers were intentionally used in the construction of megalithic sites, reflecting the spiritual beliefs of those who built them. One of the most intriguing aspects of sacred geometry is the alignment with celestial bodies and events. Carlson contends that these ancient structures were not just randomly placed, they were aligned with astronomical phenomena like solstices, equinoxes, and the movements of stars and planets, forming a kind of cosmic geometry.
Geometry was so intrinsic to many systems, both spiritual systems and meditation systems, as well as art and architecture and things like that.
Randall Carlson's theories about how ancient civilizations went about quarrying and transporting massive stones are pretty intriguing. He delves into a range of methods that really make you appreciate the ingenuity of these ancient builders. Let's chat about some of these techniques. First off, Carlson talks about the use of stone hammers and chisels. Imagine ancient craftsmen shaping and extracting stones from quarries using tools made from hard stones like granite or diorite. It's a labor-intensive process, but it shows a deep understanding of the materials they were working with. Then there's the whole idea of splitting large stones from bedrock using wedges. Wooden wedges might have been driven into cracks in the rock and then soaked with water. As the wood swelled, it would have exerted force on the rock, causing it to split. It's quite clever when you think about it, using nature's own properties to get the job done. Drilling techniques are another fascinating part of Carlson's theories. He suggests that ancient builders might have used tubular drills with abrasive sand and water to bore holes in tough stones like granite. The level of precision this would require is just astounding. When it comes to extracting bigger blocks, Carlson proposes methods like cave mining or creating underground chambers within the quarry rock. This way, large stone blocks could be accessed and removed while still intact.
They're lifting these blocks, again and again it appears in ancient Egyptian traditions. The notion that we could lift huge blocks with sound seems absurd to archaeologists, and yet it's there in the traditions of the Egyptologists.
Transporting these massive stones is another hurdle altogether. Carlson suggests wooden sledges as one of the methods. These sledges would help distribute the stone's weight over a larger area, making it easier to move. And imagine using water or wet sand as a lubricant beneath these sledges. It would create a slippery surface, allowing for easier movement of these huge stones. Then there are the cylindrical wooden rollers. By placing these under the stone, builders could roll the stone forward incrementally. It would have been a continuous process, needing a steady supply of rollers. Carlson even touches on the possibility of counterweight systems being used to lift and move these stones vertically. Think about using sandbags or other stones as counterweights on one side of a fulcrum to lift the stone onto sledges or platforms. And of course, there's the topic of ramps. The idea of building spiral or zigzagging ramps to move stones to higher levels at construction sites is another debated method. It would have allowed a gradual elevation of these massive stones to where they were needed. It's fascinating to consider all these methods. They certainly paint a picture of ancient civilizations being far more advanced and innovative in their construction techniques than we often give them credit for.
Resonance frequencies. Everything vibrates. Everything vibrates at a frequency, and if you know that frequency, you can control things. And it's all based upon the ancient numbers.
Now, Randall Carlson's take on the precision cutting and stone joinery in ancient megalithic structures is really something to marvel at. He really drives home just how skilled these ancient builders must have been. Let's talk about some of the details he highlights. Take the Great Pyramid of Giza, for instance. Carlson often points out the incredible precision in its construction. The outer casing stones, made of Tura limestone, were fitted together with such accuracy that the joints between them were only a few millimeters wide. Imagine how smooth and shiny that surface would have been, gleaming in the sunlight. It's a testament to the incredible craftsmanship of the builders. Now, achieving this kind of precision in cutting stones is no small feat, especially considering the tools available at the time. Carlson suggests that the ancient builders likely used copper chisels for the initial grooves and diorite pounding stones for the finer finishing. This combination allowed for the precise shaping of the stones. And then there's the grinding technique, using abrasive materials like sand and water with these tools to achieve the smoothness and precision of those cut surfaces. It's like ancient craftsmanship meeting an almost modern engineering precision. Of course, some alternative theorists, including Carlson, speculate about more advanced or lost technologies, like focused sunlight or sound vibrations. But these ideas are pretty controversial and not widely accepted in mainstream archaeology. When it comes to stone joinery, Carlson highlights techniques like dovetailing, seen in the construction of megalithic walls. This technique, where wedge-shaped projections and grooves are carved into stone blocks, creates a stable and secure connection. It's seen in ancient Inca architecture and showcases advanced masonry skills. Then there's the use of interlocking blocks. In some structures, the stones are designed to interlock with neighboring ones, ensuring stability and integrity. This kind of precision in stone cutting and shaping is crucial for achieving seamless connections. Carlson also talks about dry stone construction, like what you see in Machu Picchu. This method assembles stones without mortar or cement, relying instead on careful selection and placement of stones. It's a clear indicator of the craftsmanship and planning that went into these ancient structures. And let's not forget about the complex masonry patterns. The intricate patterns, like herringbone or alternating stone courses, not only add structural stability but also aesthetic beauty to these megalithic constructions.
My contention is, what we're really seeing 7, 8, 9,000 years ago is not the origins of civilization, but the rebooting of civilization.
Moving on again, Randall Carlson's theory about civilizations existing during the last ice age is something straight out of a fascinating blend of archaeology and mythology. It's pretty interesting how he steps away from mainstream archaeological thought. He suggests that back in the Pleistocene epoch, which wrapped up around 11,700 years ago, there were advanced civilizations. It's intriguing because he believes these societies were more than just surviving the harsh ice age. They were actually thriving and developing complex technologies and knowledge systems. Carlson's idea that these ancient civilizations had advanced architectural, astronomical, and mathematical knowledge really makes you think. It's like he's saying they were capable of constructing intricate structures and had a deep understanding of celestial movements, something we usually don't attribute to societies from that time. When it comes to evidence, he points to the megalithic structures scattered across the globe. Think about the pyramids of Egypt, Stonehenge in England, or the megalithic temples of Malta. According to him, the sheer scale, precision, and architectural complexity of these structures hint at a level of skill and knowledge that wouldn't have been possible without some advanced understanding. Carlson also believes that fragments of knowledge from these Ice Age civilizations have been passed down symbolically through myths, legends, and even architectural practices. It's a fascinating idea that these stories we've grown up with might actually contain hidden truths about sophisticated societies lost to history.
You're talking about a very energetic intertidal zone, and anything that's there, short of large megalithic blocks, is going to be utterly obliterated by the time the process is through.
Randall Carlson really has a way of bringing a whole new perspective to how we look at ancient megalithic structures. He dives into how the ancient builders incorporated geometric precision and carefully selected specific stone types, suggesting they had a pretty advanced understanding of geometry and geology. It's pretty fascinating stuff, and it's not just about geometry on the ground. Carlson points out that these structures often align with astronomical events like solstices and equinoxes. Take Stonehenge or the Great Pyramids, for example. Their orientation with celestial bodies suggests that the builders of these megaliths had a deep connection with the cosmos. It's like they were linking heaven and earth through their constructions. Then there's the whole aspect of selecting different types of stones. It wasn't just about what was available, it was about understanding the properties of each stone. For the parts of structures that needed to bear more weight, they'd choose something dense and durable like granite. But for parts that were more decorative or didn't need to support as much weight, they might use softer stones like limestone or sandstone. It shows they had a good grasp of geology and were thoughtful about the longevity and durability of their creations. the aesthetic aspect was also key. The ancient builders considered the color, texture, and patterns of the stones. The way different types of stones contrasted with each other could really enhance the visual and artistic appeal of these structures. In essence, Carlson's theories paint a picture of ancient builders as not just skilled laborers, but as sophisticated architects and engineers. They were creating these incredible structures with a deep understanding of geometry, astronomy, and geology. And they were doing it with an eye for beauty as well. It's a perspective that adds a whole new layer of awe to these ancient wonders.
The people in Egypt, they believed in what's called Kemet, the people that existed before the Egyptians. When we hear these stories about the Great Pyramid being a tomb for the pharaoh, it's worth mentioning that even the locals didn't believe that.
Once upon a time, as the last ice age retreated and the Earth began a dramatic transformation, the stage was set for a narrative that would challenge our understanding of human history. This was a time of global climatic shifts, marked by rising temperatures, melting ice, and rising sea levels. Human societies, which had thrived as hunter-gatherers during the chill of the Ice Age, began to spread across the planet. This period, known as the Mesolithic era, saw the dawn of permanent settlements and the beginnings of agriculture. But according to the intriguing and controversial Kemet theory, this era also witnessed the rise of something extraordinary in the Nile Valley.
The Great Pyramids and their relationship to the River Nile reflect the sky of 12,500 years ago, not 4,500 years ago.
The proponents of the Kemet theory weave a tale of an advanced civilization, one that allegedly emerged amidst these climatic upheavals. This civilization, they claim, was not just advanced for its time, but possessed knowledge and technology that would leave later societies in awe. Their mastery, it is said, extended across various domains. In the realm of astronomy, the people of Kemet supposedly had an intricate understanding of celestial bodies. They could track astronomical events with precision, knowledge that they might have used to develop sophisticated calendar systems and guide their agricultural activities.
The Great Pyramid is an incredibly complicated monument, but those who built it had an enormous knowledge, which they manifested in the Great Pyramid.
But their expertise did not end with the stars. The architectural marvels of ancient Egypt, such as the pyramids, are believed by adherents of this theory to be remnants of this earlier, more sophisticated civilization. Further, this mysterious civilization is credited with extraordinary advancements in medicine and mathematics, and perhaps even in fields of energy and physics that modern science has yet to rediscover. The legacy of their knowledge, it is suggested, was far-reaching. The proponents of the Kemet theory point to various pieces of evidence to support their claims. They observe geological anomalies that mainstream archaeology might overlook or interpret differently. For instance, the erosion patterns on the Sphinx and certain features of the pyramids are argued to be much older than the established timeline suggests.
The Great Sphinx was subjected to about 1,000 years of heavy rainfall, and that's the only time you find that heavy rainfall on the Giza Plateau is the Younger Dryas. Between roughly 12,800 and 11,600 years ago. You certainly didn't find it 4,500 years ago when the Sphinx was supposed to have been made.
Proponents cite water erosion marks on the Sphinx, which they claim point to a construction date that predates the aridity of the Sahara Desert. Moreover, the theory draws on mythological and cultural parallels. It notes similarities in ancient myths, religious practices, and architectural styles across different cultures. These similarities are interpreted as echoes of a shared source of ancient wisdom, potentially originating from Kemet. According to the narrative of the Kemet theory, after a catastrophic event, the survivors of this advanced civilization dispersed globally. This diaspora, the story goes, spread their advanced knowledge far and wide. This could, as the theory suggests, explain the sudden rise of complex civilizations and monumental architecture in various parts of the world. In the annals of alternative historical narratives, the Kemet theory stands out as a captivating tale of a civilization steeped in mystery and marvel. This story begins with the assertion that an ancient civilization, referred to as Kemet, once flourished with knowledge and technologies so advanced that they remain incomprehensible even to contemporary science. The echoes of this lost civilization are believed to be found in the monumental achievements of ancient Egypt, particularly in the realms of astronomy and engineering. In the realm of engineering, the pyramids, especially the Great Pyramid of Giza, are often presented as the pinnacle of Kemet's architectural prowess.
The mystery of the construction of the Great Pyramid, which, contrary to archaeological views, has never been solved.
Right.
Nobody knows how it was done. I mean, you are looking at 6 million tons, 13-acre footprint, 481 feet tall, 2.5 million blocks of stone in its construction.
How'd they do it?
Nobody knows how it was done.
The theory marvels at the precision and scale of these constructions. It questions how the ancient Egyptians of later periods, with their known tools and technologies, could achieve such feats. The meticulous alignment of the pyramids to true north, the transport and assembly of massive stone blocks, and the use of advanced mathematics, including pi and the golden ratio in their design, are all highlighted as indicators of a superior technological capability. Venturing further into the realm of speculation, some proponents of the Kemet theory suggest that this civilization might have harnessed unknown forms of energy or technology. Ideas range from the use of acoustics and vibrations for stone cutting and levitation, to more esoteric notions involving the manipulation of electromagnetic fields or other unseen natural forces. The dawn of the early dynastic period heralded a monumental shift. Egypt, which had been divided into upper and lower regions, was unified under the rule of King Narmer, a seminal event immortalized on the famed Narmer palette. This unification gave birth to the First Dynasty and set the stage for a cultural renaissance. Hieroglyphic writing emerged, a sophisticated system that allowed for intricate record-keeping and administration. Royal tombs, grand in their design, began to dot the landscape at Abydos and Saqqara. Religious practices grew more elaborate, with gods like Ra and Osiris gaining prominence, and the first pyramids, like Djoser's step pyramid designed by Imhotep, began to reach towards the heavens. The Old Kingdom, often hailed as the Age of the Pyramids, saw the construction of these iconic monuments reach its zenith.
What happened was that in later times, the ancient Egyptians, who were the inheritors of the culture that originally established the Giza Plateau, that the ancient Egyptians found it necessary to restore and modify some very ancient monuments.
The Great Pyramid of Giza, a marvel of engineering and architecture, stood as a testament to the pharaoh's godlike status. Art and culture flourished with the Sphinx of Giza, a colossal statue combining the body of a lion with the head of a pharaoh, embodying the period's artistic audacity. However, this golden age was not to last. Political instability and the decentralization of power eventually ushered in the First Intermediate Period, a time of decline and turmoil. Out of chaos, the Middle Kingdom arose, a period marked by reunification and stability under rulers like Mentuhotep II. Literature and art saw a renaissance, with works like The Tale of Sinuhe, reflecting a more realistic and individualistic portrayal of life. Trade expanded, and fortifications were strengthened, signaling a kingdom more secure and prosperous than ever. The new kingdom heralded an era of empire building, with Egypt's influence stretching from modern-day Syria to Sudan. This was the age of famous pharaohs like Hatshepsut, Akhenaten, Tutankhamun, and Ramesses II. Akhenaten's radical attempt at religious reform, introducing monotheistic worship of Aten, marked a brief but significant departure from traditional beliefs. Architectural achievements reached new heights, with the construction of grand temples at Karnak and Luxor, and the creation of the Valley of the Kings. Following the New Kingdom, Egypt entered a period of decline. The Third Intermediate Period was characterized by political fragmentation, and the late period saw foreign invasions and rule by Nubians, Assyrians, and Persians. The final phases of ancient Egyptian civilization were under the Greek Ptolemaic dynasty and Roman rule, marking the end of a civilization that had lasted for...
But what they don't like is the notion that certain knowledge and information accumulated by that culture was passed down all around the world, so that you find the same essential ideas in Mesopotamia, in ancient Egypt, in the Amazon rainforest, in Mexico, in Guatemala, amongst the Mayan culture, for example. The same essential ideas are being repeated.
The traditional Egyptology timeline reveals a civilization of incredible depth and complexity. From their architectural feats to the intricacies of their religious beliefs and social structures, the ancient Egyptians left an indelible mark on human history. Their story, woven into the fabric of the Nile's fertile valleys, continues to captivate and enlighten, a testament to the enduring legacy of one of the world's most remarkable civilizations. In the tapestry of human history, woven with the threads of established facts and intriguing mysteries, the Kemet theory presents a fascinating narrative. Central to this story is the concept of a global cataclysm, linked to the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, which is believed to have had a profound and lasting impact on human civilization, particularly on a sophisticated society known as Kemet. The stage for this narrative is set against the backdrop of the Younger Dryas, a period that occurred around 12,800 to 11,500 years ago. This era was marked by a sudden and drastic cooling of the Earth, interrupting the gradual warming that followed the last ice age. The Younger Dryas impact hypothesis posits that this climatic anomaly was triggered by a comet or meteor impact, or possibly multiple impacts, around 10,900 BC. The hypothesis suggests that these cosmic collisions led to widespread fires, the creation of a dust cloud that blocked sunlight, and a resultant rapid return to cold conditions. Proponents of this hypothesis point to geological evidence like nanodiamonds and microspherules found in sediment layers as signs of this ancient cosmic event. From the perspective of the Kemet theory, this cataclysmic event is seen as the pivotal factor in the downfall of the advanced Kemet civilization. The theory suggests that the catastrophic events unleashed by the impact led to widespread destruction and loss of life, resulting in the rapid decline and eventual disappearance of Kemet. The envisioned aftermath includes massive fires, dramatic climate changes, and ecological disasters that would have been devastating enough to erase much of the civilization's technological and cultural achievements.
This was the 12,800 years ago was the onset of the Younger Dryas, which is a catastrophic climate episode, which is where the Earth has been emerging quite slowly and almost pleasantly from the Ice Age, and then suddenly goes back into a dramatic deep freeze.
In the wake of this disaster, the Kemet theory weaves a tale of survival and transmission. It suggests that the survivors, carrying with them the advanced knowledge of Kemet, dispersed across the globe. These survivors, according to the theory, had a significant influence on the development of other ancient civilizations. This is often cited as the reason for the striking similarities observed in architectural styles, mythological narratives, and astronomical knowledge across various ancient cultures. However, this captivating narrative is not without its challenges and debates. One of the contentious points raised by proponents is the erosion patterns observed on the Sphinx at Giza. They argue that these patterns suggest a much older date of construction, potentially aligning with the timeline of the Kemet civilization. This claim, however, is highly debated among Egyptologists and geologists, with many attributing the erosion to known climatic and environmental factors of a later period. Similarly, questions raised about the conventional understanding of pyramid construction techniques are used to support the theory's claim of more advanced technology. Critics, on the other hand, argue that the methods proposed by mainstream archaeology are plausible and consistent with the available evidence. The theory also draws on mythological and architectural parallels across different ancient cultures, interpreting these similarities as evidence of a shared ancient knowledge base. Mainstream scholars, however, typically view these parallels as examples of convergent cultural development or shared human experiences and archetypes, rather than proof of a single disseminated ancient wisdom.
But what's fascinating about them is they are supposedly the first high civilization of Central America, that they create structures on a massive scale, that you can see connections between them and the later Maya.
For the Maya, the Milky Way was a particularly important feature of the heavens. They conceived of it as the road that led to their netherworld, Xibalba.
In the verdant lands of Central America, the ancient Maya civilization flourished with a mysterious brilliance that continues to captivate the world. Among the many enigmas they left behind, their profound understanding of astronomy stands as a testament to their intellectual prowess. Graham Hancock, a modern explorer of ancient mysteries, delves deep into this aspect of the Maya, proposing intriguing theories that stretch the bounds of conventional history.
That whole mystery of the Mayan calendar was clearly inherited from the Olmecs. It wasn't something the Maya made up. The Olmecs used that same symbolism. So the Mayan calendar is actually an Olmec calendar.
The Maya long count calendar, a marvel of ancient engineering, intricately tracked a 5,125-year cycle with astonishing precision. This calendar wasn't just a tool for marking time. It was a complex understanding of celestial cycles, intertwining the Mayas' daily lives with the cosmos. Hancock suggests that this precision hints at a deeper, possibly inherited, knowledge of astronomy. Was this sophisticated understanding a legacy from a much older, now lost civilization? When one looks at the grandeur of Maya structures such as the pyramid at Chichen Itza, the brilliance of their astronomical alignment is striking. During the equinoxes, the play of light and shadow on this pyramid creates the illusion of a serpent slithering down its steps. To Hancock, these architectural marvels are not just buildings, but celestial maps, echoing an advanced understanding of the cosmos.
Orion was extensively involved in Mayan rebirth beliefs, which described the constellation and specifically its 3 belt stars as the turtle of rebirth. In Egypt, as amongst the Maya, the stellar context involves Orion and the Milky Way.
The Mayas' awareness of the ecliptic, the path followed by the sun, moon, and planets across the sky, further fuels Hancock's theories. Their ability to predict solar and lunar eclipses and track the movements of Venus, which they revered as the god Kukulkan, showcases their deep astronomical knowledge. Did they learn this from an older civilization? Hancock wonders. A civilization lost in the depths of time. Hancock theorizes that the Maya might have been part of a vast network of ancient civilizations, sharing knowledge across seas and continents. This global maritime culture, as he envisages, could have been a conduit for transferring advanced astronomical and architectural knowledge to the Maya. The architectural designs of the Maya, seen in their pyramids, temples, and cities, reflect a level of technological and engineering skill that seems almost ahead of their time. Were these skills handed down from a previous, more advanced civilization? The mathematical systems of the Maya, including their use of zero, a concept rare in the ancient world, were integral to their astronomical calculations. Hancock proposes that this mathematical sophistication, too, might be a legacy from a forgotten civilization.
We're not what it's all about at all. That there may have been an earlier civilization that reached a high level of advancement, perhaps different from ours, but nevertheless an advanced civilization, which was just taken out of the story completely by a global cataclysm.
In a tale woven from the threads of ancient mysteries, Graham Hancock, a modern-day seeker of lost truths, presents a fascinating theory. He imagines a world where an advanced civilization, predating the ancient cultures known to history, once thrived. This civilization, possibly flourishing before the last ice age ended around 10,000 BCE, was a beacon of knowledge in fields like astronomy, architecture, and mathematics. Hancock's story tells of a society whose influence stretched far beyond its own time and space, touching various corners of the ancient world, including the enigmatic Maya civilization.
I think, and it's my case, that it wiped our memory of a previous episode of human civilization, that right at the epicenter of this cataclysm was a civilization that we would regard as advanced, not a simple hunter-gatherer civilization, which was utterly wiped out in this cataclysmic event.
However, this ancient global society in Hancock's story faced a dramatic and catastrophic end. He hypothesizes that a cataclysmic event, such as a comet impact or a massive flood, nearly obliterated this civilization. But not all was lost. The survivors, carrying the torch of their advanced knowledge, ventured out into the world. These bearers of ancient wisdom found their way to other, less advanced societies and shared their knowledge, planting the seeds for new civilizations to grow. Among these were the Maya, who, in Hancock's view, may have been one of the many inheritors of this ancient legacy. Hancock points to the Mayas' remarkable architectural and astronomical achievements as evidence of this influence. The precision of their calendar systems, their understanding of celestial cycles, and the alignment of their buildings with astronomical events are, in his narrative, not just the fruits of their own ingenuity, but possibly a heritage from a civilization lost in the mists of time. He draws parallels between the architectural styles, religious beliefs, and astronomical knowledge found across various ancient cultures, suggesting these similarities might be remnants of a shared source of ancient wisdom.
Because we now know that at that time, between 12,800 and 11,600 years ago, truly global cataclysmic events involving rapid rises in sea level did occur, and suddenly the worldwide tradition of a global flood stops being just a myth and starts being a memory.
In a narrative that intertwines the mysteries of ancient seas with the Maya calendar, Graham Hancock, a storyteller of history's hidden chapters, brings to life his theories of a bygone era. He paints a picture of an ancient world, not fragmented by vast oceans, but connected through them. This world, according to Hancock, was home to a sophisticated global maritime culture. This culture, adept in the art of navigation and shipbuilding, embarked on extensive sea voyages, knitting together the far-flung civilizations of the ancient world. Hancock's tale is not just about the movement of ships, but also about the flow of ideas, technologies, and beliefs. He sees the similarities in architectural styles and construction techniques across different ancient cultures as whispers of a shared knowledge, possibly disseminated through this maritime network. In this story, ancient seafarers are the unsung heroes, ferrying not just goods but also the seeds of culture and religion across the world's watery expanse. He draws parallels with the Polynesian navigators, known for their remarkable oceanic voyages, suggesting that similar capabilities could have existed among these ancient maritime cultures.
They're telling us that this lost civilization was submerged in a great flood around 11,600 years before our time. This is why I think we need to pay attention to the Atlantis story rather than just write it off as the ravings of the lunatic fringe.
But Hancock's narrative takes an intriguing turn as he touches upon the mysterious Maya civilization and their long count calendar. This calendar, a sophisticated timekeeping system, tracks a cycle of approximately 5,125 years, culminating in a date that modern calendars align with December 21st, 2012. Hancock, weaving a tale from the threads of time, views this not as an apocalyptic end, but as a significant moment in Maya cosmology, a marker of major transition or transformation. In this story, the 2012 phenomenon is not a tale of doom, but a moment of cosmological significance, possibly indicating a shift in human consciousness or the dawn of a new era in human history. Hancock uses this moment to discuss the broader concept of historical cycles, how ancient civilizations understood and measured time, and their alignment with astronomical events such as the precession of the equinoxes and the galaxy's alignment. Graham Hancock, a modern-day chronicler of lost civilizations, presents a captivating theory. He tells a story of Earth's history punctuated by cataclysmic events, asteroid impacts, massive floods, and volcanic eruptions that have periodically reshaped the course of human civilization. In this tale, these cataclysms are not just natural disasters, but pivotal moments that lead to the rise and fall of civilizations, causing a reset of human progress.
But before the Aztecs and before the Maya, there were a culture who are referred to as the Olmecs. The settlement story of the Americas is much more complicated than we've realized. And what the DNA is doing is it's telling us that there was something really weird.
In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, there was a growing fascination with ancient civilizations, particularly in the Victorian era. This interest was driven by a mix of cultural trends in exploration, colonization, and a certain romantic allure attached to discovering lost cultures. Major institutions like museums and universities, primarily in Europe and the US, started funding expeditions to unearth ancient artifacts and understand the history of indigenous civilizations in the Americas. It was a time when archaeology began to evolve from just hunting for treasures to a more scientific approach, focusing on careful excavation and detailed analysis.
One of the things I've realized is that there is no classic Native American feature, that Native Americans are have a very complex genetic story with very many different elements brought into it, and we shouldn't be necessarily surprised by the supposedly non-Native American look.
Interestingly, during this period, many artifacts, especially the colossal heads and stone structures found in the Olmec region, were often wrongly attributed to other well-known civilizations like the Maya or Aztec. This was largely because the unique aspects of Olmec art and iconography weren't immediately recognized, partly due to a lack of an overall framework to understand the region's history before Columbus. A couple of notable explorers, John Lloyd Stevens and Frederick Catherwood, played a significant role in stirring up interest in Mesoamerican cultures with their explorations and writings, particularly their books on travels in Central America and Yucatan. Their detailed accounts and illustrations captured the public's imagination, sparking a wave of interest in these ancient cultures. While they mainly focused on the Maya, their approach to systematically document their findings and blend travel narratives with scholarly observations greatly influenced future archaeologists studying Mesoamerica.
It's been known by archaeologists for quite a long time that there are anomalous skulls in parts of Brazil, which appear to show very strongly Polynesian or African features, very much like the features that we see on the Olmec heads.
Around this time, there was also a trend in comparative archaeology, where discoveries from different parts of the world were compared, helping to place Mesoamerican civilizations in a global context. Museums began to transition from just storing artifacts to becoming centers of research and education, playing a crucial role in spreading knowledge about ancient cultures. This era also marked the start of interdisciplinary approaches in archaeology, integrating fields like anthropology, linguistics, and early forms of environmental science. This broader, more inclusive approach helped in piecing together a more comprehensive understanding of ancient civilizations, including the intriguing and complex Olmec culture. Back in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, when Western archaeologists were exploring Mesoamerica, they started coming across these massive stone heads. Some of them were over 9 feet tall and weighed several tons, with distinctive features like flat noses and fleshy cheeks, often adorned with helmet-like headgear. But here's the thing. Despite their impressive size and unique features, their true cultural significance wasn't immediately understood.
They're most famous for is these huge carved human heads, which can be on a scale of up to 20 to 25 tons, which have curious features, which have been interpreted variously as Polynesian, African, don't look like classic Native American features.
One of the earliest significant findings was made by José Melgari Serrano in 1862 at Tres Zapotes in Veracruz. He unearthed what we now know as one of the first Olmec colossal heads. Melgari Serrano even described the head as having Ethiopian features, which tells us a lot about the perceptions and biases of that era. But, and this is crucial, his discovery didn't really spark a broader understanding of the Olmec culture right away. For a long time, these heads were seen more as intriguing oddities rather than pieces of a larger cultural puzzle. It took several decades and a lot more digging before the significance of these heads truly began to be appreciated. Initially, many people thought these artifacts might belong to other known civilizations, like the Maya or Aztec, because the idea of the Olmecs being a distinct, early Mesoamerican civilization hadn't quite taken shape yet. It wasn't until the mid-20th century, with more systematic excavations led by archaeologists like Matthew Stirling, that the true picture began to emerge. They found more colossal heads and other artifacts, and this really helped to establish the Olmecs as a significant and influential civilization in their own right, predating and possibly even influencing others like the Maya and the Aztecs. Back in 1945, a really important expedition took place, led by this guy named Matthew Stirling. He and his team headed to San Lorenzo, right in the heart of what was once Olmec territory. This wasn't just any random adventure. It was a big deal because the Smithsonian Institution was backing it. They saw the potential in figuring out more about the Olmec sites, which could really shed some light on Mesoamerican prehistory. Before Stirling got there, there had been some poking around in the area, mostly because people kept finding these huge stone heads. These finds were intriguing but didn't quite give the full picture. So enter Stirling. He was already pretty well known in archaeology circles and had a real knack for Mesoamerican cultures. He was the perfect guy to take on such a complex task. Now, it wasn't an easy job. The San Lorenzo site was in this tropical area, covered in thick jungle. Just getting to the site and starting to dig was a huge challenge. They had to clear a bunch of jungle without messing up any artifacts that might be hiding there. And let me tell you, the weather didn't make things any easier. It was humid, unpredictable, and not the best for keeping ancient artifacts in one piece. The site itself was huge, spreading out over several kilometers. Sterling and his team had to figure out where to start digging because there was no way they could cover the whole area. They did an initial survey which took a lot of time and planning, and then decided on the most promising spots to start excavating. They had to be super careful with how they dug things up. The artifacts were old and fragile, especially with the humidity. Plus, they had to keep track of everything they found, where they found it, and all the details, which was crucial for understanding the site later on.
It wasn't something the Maya made up. The Olmecs used that same symbolism. So the Mayan calendar is actually an Olmec calendar.
What they found at San Lorenzo was amazing. It turned out to be one of the oldest big cities in Mesoamerica, dating way back to around 1200 to 900 BCE. That's even before civilizations like the Maya and Aztecs that most people are familiar with. The artifacts they unearthed, especially those massive stone heads, were a big deal. They were carved from single blocks of basalt and had all these unique facial features. It was clear that the people who made them were incredibly skilled. All this hard work at San Lorenzo really helped piece together the story of the Olmecs. It gave us a clearer timeline and showed just how complex and advanced their society was. Diving deeper into San Lorenzo, which is super important when it comes to understanding the Olmec civilization, it's considered the oldest major city in Mesoamerica, dating back to around 1200 to 900 BCE. That's way before other famous civilizations like the Maya and Aztecs. Radiocarbon dating was key here. It helped archaeologists nail down the timeline of the site, giving a much clearer picture of when the Olmecs were doing their thing. Now, the most famous stuff they found at San Lorenzo. Definitely the colossal heads. These huge sculptures were carved from single basalt blocks and are known for their unique facial features like almond-shaped eyes and broad noses. A lot of them have these intricate headdresses too, which might have been a sign of high status or had some ceremonial purpose. But there's still a lot of debate about what all the symbols mean. The size of these heads is just mind-blowing. Some are up to 3 meters high and weigh around 50 tons. Imagine the skill it took to carve those. But it wasn't just the heads. They found jade figurines and a bunch of different pottery styles, which tell us a lot about their daily life, art, and even trade. The jade stuff suggests they had trade networks because jade wasn't just lying around everywhere. And the buildings. They found large structures like platforms and what might have been houses for the elite. This points to a society that was really well organized and had the resources to build big. The way San Lorenzo was laid out is also fascinating. It had a central axis, which indicates that the city was carefully planned. There were separate areas for ceremonies and living, showing a sophisticated urban structure and hinting at a social hierarchy. All this stuff from San Lorenzo has been super important for understanding the Olmecs. It's given us a much clearer timeline of their civilization and shown just how complex their society was. The variety in the artifacts, from the colossal heads to the pottery, shows that they were not only skilled in stone carving, but had artists and craftsmen who were really good at what they did. It's like San Lorenzo has given us a window into a past world, showing us how these ancient people lived, worked, and created. After the exciting discoveries at San Lorenzo in the 1940s, archaeologists turned their attention to La Venta, another key Olmec site in Tabasco, Mexico, in the 1950s. This shift was a big deal because La Venta offered a new window into the Olmec world. Known as one of the earliest complex societies in Mesoamerica, the explorations here were more focused and methodical, thanks to archaeologists like Philip Drucker and Robert Heiser. These guys weren't just digging around, they brought in techniques from other fields like anthropology and geology, giving a fuller picture of the Olmec civilization. La Venta is super important for understanding the peak of Olmec culture. The site was in its prime from around 900 to 400 BCE, a time when the Olmecs were really showing off their artistic and architectural skills. One of the standout features of La Venta is the Great Pyramid. It's not like the pyramids in Egypt. This one's made of earth and clay and has a unique conical shape. It was one of the biggest structures in ancient Mesoamerica at the time, which tells us the Olmecs were pretty good at organizing big construction projects. The pyramid was probably more than just a big building. It's believed to have been a key spot for ceremonies or religious activities, kind of like the heart of Olmec ritual life. The way they built it and other structures at La Venta, and how they aligned them with astronomical bodies, shows they were pretty savvy with engineering and astronomy. It was likely a bustling cultural hub where significant ceremonies and gatherings happened. When archaeologists started digging at La Venta, they did things a bit differently than before. They were super systematic about it, focusing on layers of soil and the context of each artifact they found. But they had their work cut out for them. The tropical climate and the fact that many Olmec structures were made of earth really made preserving and understanding these finds tough. They had to be meticulous in recording everything they dug up, which has been a goldmine for future analysis. Now, just like at San Lorenzo, La Venta is famous for its massive basalt heads. Carved from huge boulders, these heads are thought to be representations of Olmec rulers or other big shots in their society. But there's more. The site is full of altars with intricate carvings showing people, animals, and all sorts of symbolic scenes. It's like getting a glimpse into their mythology and rituals. And then there's the jade. La Venta turned up loads of jade artifacts, from beautifully carved figurines to celts. These weren't just pretty things to look at. They showed how skilled the Olmecs were and hinted at long trade networks, since jade wasn't just lying around nearby. But here's where it gets really interesting. The burial sites they found were complex, with all kinds of elaborate practices. They also found mosaic pavements made of serpentine and various offerings, which likely had deep religious meaning. All this stuff from La Venta has been super important in piecing together who the Olmecs were, their social structure, religious beliefs, and artistic talents. However, keeping La Venta in good shape for future studies is a challenge. The site's battling both natural elements and human factors, so preserving this amazing place is crucial, not just for archaeology buffs, but for understanding a key part of human history.